Look at all these messages. Hello. I think we're live now. I have to double check on my computer. We're using a different streaming service. So I think we're live.
My drink. Not that.
Yeah. This one?
Yeah.
Okay, we're live now. Hi, everyone. Sorry we're so late. Thank you for joining. Okay, yes, we're here now.
Hi.
Wow, what a day.
Here we are.
Thank you for your patience.
Literally, we just got done shooting a video, and we had kind of set it up where we were doing one thing and then the next. And it'd take a long time. But the good news is we just shot a video, so we'll have some video content for you guys if you care about that kind of stuff.
Finally.
Are you there? Hello, everyone.
I know. We're using StreamYard. Oh, it shows you here how many people are watching. I know everyone was waiting at right here. Everyone was waiting at 2:30, so
yeah.
We lost them all. That's okay.
This is our new thing. We used to always be on time for our like claim sales and stuff.
Because of me.
Wow. I mean, it takes two to party, you know. I was right there with you on time.
That's true. Anyway, we're here now. Hi, guys.
Yep.
Welcome.
All of us. There's 12 of you that hung out to allow us to sit and chat with you. Hi, everybody.
I'm gonna post on Instagram. Make sure everyone knows that we're here.
Okay.
Go ahead and tell them what we're doing today, Dad.
What are we doing? I'm just kidding. Yeah, we just decided that we'd do this a couple days ago, and
so sorry.
We don't live in Oregon either. We live in Washington State.
What?
I'm looking at the chat.
Oh, yeah. We're up in the Pacific Northwest, though.
We're close. I'm there all the time. In a secret lair. You are absolutely right. The Fortress of Solitude. We share it with Superman. Or the Batcave. We share it with Batman. Yeah. So we decided to do this. We haven't been able to record a lot lately. We've been super busy, and we thought we'd just chat with you guys about kind of like what we've been up to, what's been taking all of our time. And we really do. We're going to continue to make videos, and it's still a priority to us, but also making a living is a priority, you know, so that's important. Actually, because I do this full time, and I'm not retired or anything. I mean, I have to work for a living, just like most people.
And yes, you know? David, we're live right now. Oh, I can show it.
What are we showing?
It's live right now. We haven't used StreamYard before, so I'm learning.
Okay.
We're here. So I can put the questions up there. That's great.
Oh, very good.
It's fancy. I feel fancy.
Put the questions on the side, you mean?
Yeah, like on the screen so people can see it.
Oh, very good.
Love it. Anyway.
Well, and hello.
Hi.
Yeah, so I'm not great at this type of multitasking. Probably Rachael is going to be looking at that. So we're just going to chat a little bit. I brought some books too. Trying to keep up with everything. Because we've changed gears a few times since I started since I became a comic reseller full time. My path has changed quite a bit from wanting to only sell CGC books online to not selling CGC books and only selling raw books. And really the hesitation for me from the beginning, being someone who's really focused on grade, was, you know, selling raw books and people disputing the grade or having a lot of tension over, you know, people that might not be happy or always wanting, you know, to dispute. I didn't want to deal with that. So I did sell on eBay for quite a while. And just I've completely moved away from all of that. So I sold mostly slab books on eBay. I did start selling some raw books with a lot of success, never had an issue with grading or anything. The issue wasn't my grading. I was always concerned with the other side. So if I sold something that was very fine near mint, I didn't want someone to say it wasn't and have that kind of discussion and have, you know, to do with their return policy where someone's going to take my book and my money. Really didn't like the idea of that.
eBay really just, wasn't it.
So, you know, there were some false starts, things like that. So I never mind buying raw books. I've always minded buying raw books when someone didn't want to grade it. It'd be like buying a book and they didn't want to tell you how much it was. Like, how much is this? I don't know. That's bad, you know? Have you ever bought a book when someone didn't want to tell you how much it was? to me, it's the same thing if I'm trying to buy a book and someone doesn't want to tell me what grade it is. So like, I want to take it out of the bag. And if they don't want to let me take it out of the bag and they don't want to tell me what grade it is, chances are I don't want to buy it. And that's a me thing. Because I tend to buy things that are investment grade or things that I would like to sell at some point or let my family sell, because I spend a lot of money on comics. It's not because I look at them as an investment exclusively, but when you spend a lot of money on something, chances are you don't want someone to throw it away later. You'd like them to be able to retain some of the money that was spent. I'm not talking about $50. If someone has $1 million worth of comic books and everyone's going to pass away at some point, you'd like their family to benefit from that, at least recover some of the money. It would probably be the only type of thing like that would not have any value. So if I'm buying $1,000 comic book, if I'm buying $100 comic book, I'd like to know that there's value there. And I think the same way as a seller. So if I'm selling somebody something, there's entertainment involved and there's an expense for that. Sometimes you can buy a $20 comic book, $30 comic book, and maybe later on down the road it's worth $10. Maybe no one cares about it anymore and you can't find anyone to buy it. Or maybe it's really popular now and you could sell it for $300. Whatever the case is, you'd want to know something about that comic book enough to make a decision if you're going to spend that kind of money on it. If it's a pop, if it's a toy of some kind, or, if you're going to the cinema with a friend and you end up spending $75, you understand the entertainment value of that. You have a memory to walk away with, good or bad, Rotten Tomatoes worthy or not, whatever that is, right? So when it comes to comic books or any type of collectible, it really is, the more you know, the better, in terms of if you ever plan on A, personally selling it, B, possibly selling it to get other collectibles that you want, or C, it being part of your estate, that at some point your family or loved ones would benefit from the sale of that item. So I didn't want to dispute things. So we've been doing this for about 1.5 years, selling almost exclusively raw. And my approach, which it took me a while to wrap my mind around it, is just grade as strictly as possible. And you rest on that. And that's what we've been doing. And actually, over the last 1.5 years, we're grading stricter now than we did in the beginning. Mostly because I got some pretty good glasses.
It's amazing what glasses
I wouldn't say Rachel's grading stricter, because she was pretty strict. I mean, one thing about it's a generational thing. I think the modern generation grading is doing a fantastic job. You should never underestimate them. If anything, they're too strict. In general, I'm not saying every single person, right? There might be someone out there who's lazy and they're not doing their job, and that you don't have to be young or old. You just have to be lazy for that. But I'm telling you, I've gotten some books over the years. Like I'll give you right away. I'll give you a comic book store that I think does a pretty good job grading, and that's Torpedo Comics out of Las Vegas. I've gotten some of their mystery boxes early on, years ago. And the grade written on the back, invariably, almost 100% of the time, it was undergraded. Almost 100% of the time. And I come to find out they had most of their graders were in their 20s, young people that they trained. And boy, they were tough. I mean, tough. I got some books that they said were 7.5s that were 9.0s, 9.2s. Because if anything even started to show up, they were like, oh, this is a rag.
I've gotten more aware of that kind of stuff with older books now.
What stuff's that?
Like I'd be more harsh on older books, but you approach them differently.
Right.
You grade them because of how old they are, which I didn't know in the beginning. I would be way harsher.
Due to lack of exposure, because you're seeing a lot newer books all the time.
And there'd be things with older books that I didn't know if it would affect the grade.
What do you mean by older? What do you consider?
Like Silver Age.
Silver, like 60s. And,
Well, and I've talked about this before in other live streams, but I graded a bunch of Golden Age Gurus books, and so I graded 500 Golden Age books, which I learned a lot. And there's a lot of things with Golden Age that I learned.
Golden Age, not Atomic Age. So we had
there might have been some Atomic Age in there, but it was mainly Golden Age. Yeah.
So 40s. And we, just as a favor, helping them out, getting ready for a convention, because we live pretty close. I just asked him if he wanted any help, so we graded some books. And when I said we, it was Rachael, right? So
I graded all of them.
Yeah, because really what I wanted Rachael to do was get exposure to that era and that paper. And she got out her CGC grading guide. It's not that she didn't know how to grade. She's a really good grader, but I wanted her to grade some low grade.
Well, and I didn't know what restoration looked like either, so that helped me a lot.
So, by the end of that, she is now our resident low grade grader. Now I'll have you know, in the last 4 or 6 weeks, I've dealt with so many low grade books on the regular that I'm getting better. But here's the way it is when I sell raw books. On low grades, I'm even more inclined to go lower. I mean, if I think something's a 4.5, I might give it a 4.0 if I'm in that neighborhood anyway, because it just depends on the value of the book. When I'm dealing with keys and when I'm dealing with books that particular grade might be worth $50 or $100, I'm going to take a lot more time grading it, and we're going to have both of us looking at it. I might even call someone and send pictures to somebody. The more expensive the book is, or the more rare the book is, I have a lot of resources. I could call it 4 people right now that are all experts, right? So that's good. I mean, because to me, it's really important. To me, some people might not think grading is important. Oh my gosh, I think grading is incredibly important. If like 0.5 can mean the difference of thousands of dollars, yeah, it's important. Or if that grade is the difference of being the highest in census, or something that someone's been looking for 20 years and they really want this book, I don't want to sell them something and represent it wrong. So this is what we do for a living. We're super passionate about it. That's why I'm fortunate to work with Rachael, who's just as passionate, and watch her get a love and excitement for what we do.
We're definitely passionate about different parts of the hobby, though.
What would you say you're passionate about? What aspects of it? Because I know
what I'm not passionate about. More than I know what I am.
Pray tell.
Well, we just recorded a video where we were looking through some of our backstock, and you are starting a collection of Legion of Superheroes, and I couldn't care less about that at all. Personally, I don't care, and I don't care about war comics.
Right.
I have no excitement around that. I like horror comics.
Right.
I like PreCode Horror. I think everyone likes PreCode Horror.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of the modern stuff.
I think over time you'll probably grow some appreciation.
I do have appreciation.
Yeah.
I just don't care about them.
I totally get it.
It's kind of like there's music I listen to or there's music out there that I appreciate because of what they did for music, but I don't like them. I'll listen to them.
No, I get it. I do think a lot of it's exposure and interest, right? So horror is one of the easiest things to either like or not like immediately, no matter what generation you're from.
Yeah, I just can't afford it, so it's not like I'm going to be picking up a lot of this.
Well, you could all right, let me ask you, if you saw a great horror cover that's pre-code, say from 1954, would you buy a reprint for $5?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would.
I don't. For me personally, I would.
Just so you could have it. There's a lot of people like that.
I would if it was right in front of me.
I'd buy a print of the cover. I'd do that.
And I have.
Yeah, I'd do that.
I've even done that. Do I want the original? This is where I start getting really picky. The answer is yes, yes, yes. Do I want Black Cat 50? Yes, yes, yes.
Someone just sent me a picture on our Instagram that they just got one of those.
I know.
Did you see it? You didn't talk about it.
Yes.
We have some questions too whenever we get to it.
I'll wrap this part up. So do I want them? Yes. Are they a priority in my life? No. If they were,
you have other things that you would get before those, I think.
Well, my number one priority right now is growing the business. So I'm buying collections. If it's not in a collection, chances are I'm not buying that. In those collections, if there was a copy of that, I'd keep it. That's the thing. If that was the biggest part of the collection where I'm spending all the money, I might have to consider not keeping it. But I'm still reinvesting every cent I ever put into this business back into the business to grow a backstock. So I think the first 3 or 4 years I'm doing this, I have to do that in order to continue to do this for the rest of my working life. So that's growing any business. Is you have to be able to focus on the business and not take everything down. To the advantage of the business that we do, that makes it a better business for the customer because I want to have a good stock, right? I'm not trying to sell junk and make it work. So I keep reinvesting. A lot of the things that I have that I used to consider my PC are now I consider part of the business, but there are some exceptions, like my House of Mystery 175, which it's just one comic book in a lot, and it's by far not the most expensive comic book out there. Right now, I think the zeitgeist of what's popular in Bronze Age horror, if you collect that, is just starting to crystallize that people are realizing something I've known for a long time, and that's what are the most important books. So everyone knows that the first appearance. Oh yeah, I'll fix that in a second.
Oh, your computer died. That's what it was. I'll fix it. You keep going.
My
scared me.
The most important books people might realize the first appearance of Swamp Thing in House of Secrets 82. That's important. Okay. That's not the only important book. There are other ancillary books around it. What about House of Mystery? I think that on the surface, everyone thinks that 174 is the most important book because of the Great Two Doors and this cryptic creature coming through. But here's the deal. That particular book, great cover. It's reprints. Yes, they changed the trade dress. They adopted the horror moniker that would, bring in that being now strictly a horror comic book. But they didn't really launch it till the next issue in 175, where they brought in Neil Adams to do the cover. They had new stories, and it was the origin of Cain who would carry that forward. So Cain and Abel bring that together, and later on they would be in Sandman and some other properties. That's what brought that together. That didn't happen until 175. 174, you can find them every day of the week. You go on eBay or anywhere else right now, you're going to find a 174. They're common. I mean, there's tons of them. There's tons of high grade copies. There's 9/8s out there. What about 175? Ghost Town.
There's a lot of low grade ones.
You'd have a hard time finding a low grade copy.
I looked on eBay the other day because someone was asking about yours, and there's some out there, but they're expensive.
All right. Low grade ones. So they're more expensive.
Yeah.
There's less low grade copies available than there are in the 174. Sometimes you can't even find a low-grade copy, a beater, which is unusual because most issues in that run you can find. But the 175 and the 176, which is also a wicked Neil Adams cover, the next couple issues are a little tougher. It's starting to crystallize to people that, wait a minute, why am I chasing the easy issues? I should be chasing the tough issues. Hey, you're catching on. Should you be chasing easy issues or tough issues if you're a completist? And even if you're not a completist, you only want to collect the best covers of anything. Shouldn't you be looking for those if you actually want to collect them? And by the way, they're going to cost you the most money. And if you have preferences, I only collect books in white pages. You should be collecting something else if you collect these because they don't exist in white pages. Oh, I have one, right? So I have a 175 9/4 white pages, the chupacabra of comics. There's only 5 in existence. There's 196. There's 5 of those. There's not a lot on the census. Some people have those in their PCs tucked in out there. There will be more coming to market. I know it. I understand that.
Everyone's getting stuff slabbed right now, so
there
could be more.
There are more out there. I'm going to tell you right now. They're guys like me or older. They're not going to sell them. They're going to have to die for those. I'm not kidding. They're either going to have to lose their house, they're going to have to cash out, and their partner in life wants to go to Aruba or something,
Yeah.
And then they sell their collection and take some kind of trip. That's the people that are going to sell those. But it's not a book you would part with for money. I wouldn't do a money exchange with that book because I can't replace it. So I'd have to stop caring about it. I'm not going to stop caring about it. And I'm not even trying to be funny. It's like, why would I not care about that? really, you could have almost any other book, not that one. It's not the most valuable book I have. It's just one of the hardest to replace, and I think it's one of the most important books. So in a world of geekism, it's pretty geeky, right? That one's pretty geeky, but you'd have to, like I said, you'd have to really understand that series to understand that, and the next issue with that witch Neil Adams cover where her hair looks almost silver. There are some sick covers. They're not all created equal. I think these are all House Secrets. I brought some. Yeah. And it's like, these are all House Secrets. And House of Mystery and House of Secrets are so different than each other. Like collecting those two, I used to put them in like one category. They're different. Because like Nick Cardy did some covers in House of Secrets that I thought are some of his best covers of any work he's ever done. So all of a sudden, Nick Cardy, who I didn't respect as much as the other guys, in House of Secrets, his stock goes up for me. And, I mean, all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, all stock. You should get a copy of this book. And these are not for sale. I'm not trying to sell books of mine. And good luck with the stuff I tell you, because you can't find these things. And now they're astronomical. But I'll show in a couple minutes. These things are great, but I think they'd have to offer you either some kind of nostalgia, or you'd really have to be a super fan of the horror Bronze Age genre, because it misses out on what makes horror a great thing in comics. Number one, it was EC that had the best stories. These don't. These stories don't hold a candle to EC. So all hail EC when it comes to horror. Nothing, Black Cat, all that stuff, their stories weren't nearly as good as EC. So Gaines had jugged up lightning and made some of the best comic books in the horror genre ever written. I hope one day somebody does better, but it hasn't happened yet. And it's been 80 years. So I don't know what to tell you about that. But ECs are the best. If you can't afford ECs, I think the next best thing would be Bronze Age, not cover wise. I think that there was some other stuff going on in the 50s that are the best covers out there, period. I don't know if they're ever going to be beaten. And some of it is other publications besides EC, and they're just phenomenal. But outside of that genre, then it's Bronze Age. And it's not exclusively DC. I think that Charlton had some pretty good stuff, but not exclusively. Some other publications did too. And also some Australian stuff that was pretty cool. And some other countries did some pretty good horror stuff. Not into the magazines a lot because I thought the painted covers were a bit much for me, but I do like that art, and I like Frank Frazetta and Boris and those guys. I just never collected them because I couldn't keep them in condition, and I'm a condition guy, and those big formats are just hard to
that leads me to a question that someone asked.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know I had so much to say.
Yeah, a lot to say about that.
I have a lot to say.
All right, so this is from Eggplant Comics. What do you think about pulps? Are they hot or not? We don't even have any pulps, I don't think.
No, but I have friends that have spoken to me about their desire to get pulps. So it seems like when all the PreCode stuff is kind of exposed for what it is, if it's good girl, or if it's romance, or whatever it is in the PreCode horror. Now it's pulps. So people are going after pulps. There's some incredible art in pulps. They weren't grading them with CGC. Now they are. So I think the pulp market has been ripe for the picking for years. And I have friends that are now collecting them. I think that my friends are really going after them. My personal opinion about those things, if I saw a stack of pulps at a garage sale, I always go by my personal taste. In terms of like, do I think that's good art? For me, it would be about the art. Next, it would be about the theme. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on it personally, because my rule of thumb is I try not to invest money in something I don't know about. Why do I say that? From experience.
Been there.
If that makes sense to you. So I especially when it comes to actual money, would I pay $10 for one? Yeah. Would I pay $10 each for 100 of them? No. I'd have to know what they are. If it seems too good to be true, it often is. If it's something I don't know, I will go with my gut in most situations, and it's never let me down. But I think that illusions of grandeur have, so I'm not going to do anything based on money. It would have to be I really like the art. And and I have a really good eye for that, and I have really good taste for art, and I have good taste for what people would like other than me. So that's my opinion on them. I know people that are collecting them, and I'll keep you informed if anyone ever really comes across some things that I think I would like to own. You know, a lot of what I like has some kind of tie to my own sense of nostalgia, and I haven't seen a lot of pulps that tie into my nostalgia. And that's why I don't think you like war comics and some of the stuff you don't like. There's nothing in your sense of nostalgia that has any connection to that. So for you, it's like,
you also are like really into history, and I'm not. So
right,
that's also part of it.
Right, but there's nothing you can see in that's interesting to you.
Yeah,
nothing, you know, and that makes total sense to me. Where like if you were nostalgic, like when you do see something that's nostalgic to you that you've never seen before, that may not be nostalgic to me, but I know it's nostalgic to you, like Simpsons or like some of the stuff.
Those Labyrinth books that I picked up.
Yeah, so I think it really has to tie in as a collector. I don't invest, so that's not what I do. I'm a collector. You see, I'm not just looking like, hey, somebody somewhere, you know. I have some A&W glasses that I bought at a blind auction, right? And I'm crazy. So they're in a box, but they're like they're from the 60s, and they were fire baked, so the enamel's on the inside, and they're valuable. I think one of them's worth $150. The reason I like them and I've kept them is because they actually tie into nostalgia for me, because I used to go to A&W when it was a drive-in, the A&W root beer.
Yeah.
So
who doesn't know what that is? Everyone knows what A&W is.
Well, so, but I like those. There's a nostalgic element to that. I just picked up some Bob's Big Boy comic books that somebody had bagged and board. But like when you used to go to Bob's Big Boy, you know, if anyone's from the West Coast in my age group, I used to like that because it was the least boring restaurant. So when my parents wanted to go there, I was like, yes, they have coloring books. And we'd always get those little coloring books, and somebody had bagged and board, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them I got in a collection. There's nostalgia there for me. Would I pay a plug nickel for one? No. But I liked having them.
All right, here's another question. This goes back to grading. Would you say there's a huge difference in grading mid-70s books versus mid-80s books?
In grading them?
The paper's different. So there's that with like production stuff. Production things look different on those two eras.
I don't know if I give, well, here, would you give something to pass from being from one of those eras for anything that you wouldn't give the other eras? So,
I'd say yes.
But what is it?
The paper, like the spines on those 80s books are a lot flatter than ones in the 70s.
Well, here's something about the 70s that was quite different than the 80s. All back covers in the 70s were white. 100%. They were white and they were a box. Right? So there was just one box, right? And then in the 80s, they started to do black covers on the back, maybe Maxell tape recorders or whatever. You see what I'm saying? And I'm talking about towards the end of the era. So there were some things that they did with the content on the paper that kind of changed how the paper showed defects. The fact of the matter is, the more that I grade comic books, and we grade thousands a week. I just showed in the video that we just did, I might go through 30 books before I find a keeper, you know, to sell. That's why people are surprised it takes us so long to process books. When I buy comic books, I'm not just buying perfect books. I'm buying a collection, and I only like to sell books at a certain grade. So I have to go through a lot. So I think that 70s books, we've come to expect every decade to be a lower grade than the decade after it, right? What would you expect a common book from the 70s to grade at in a normal collection that wasn't special?
I don't know.
8.0?
Yeah, 7.5, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think a normal knock-around collection, bagged and boarded, you're not going to, very fine. And then where the 80s, I'm expecting those to all be 9.0, 9.2. You see? So
they're just newer. That makes sense.
Correct.
They're newer.
Correct. But the paper in the 70s tended to be thicker. So you're going to find that here's something that's interesting. If you had a nail bend in the 70s, even if you got it out, nail bend, I'm not going to show those yet. from reading, right? Even if you get it out, it can break color the earlier you go because the paper's so thick that the passage of time will leave a little mark, which is really annoying. Less in the later eras because the paper's so thin that I've had books, I swear they look like hamburger meat. Somebody really liked that book and they might have read it 40 times. So you get all these nail bends, but if you use the right application of steam and heat, it can get them out without any other work. But if you had that with a book from the 70s, it might leave a lot of color breaks where those nail bends are. So thick paper on that type of ink can leave a lot of defects that a simple press with the right kind of heat and steam could easily remove. That's the difference in grading, is you'll see those types of color breaks. And yeah, it's going to be harder for a book from 1970 than a book from like 85 to get a 9.0. A 9.0, 9.0 is tough in 1970.
Is there a particular book or event that starts off the Copper Age? I actually don't know the answer.
Copper Age.
I don't know. It's like that Flash one.
I always think of 1990 as the beginning of the Copper Age, right? Don't you?
I like late 80s.
It's like a variable number is really what the Copper Age is.
So when that paper changed, it's like as soon as that paper looks different, that's Copper Age. I don't know.
Boy, I know I'm going to get this wrong.
I know. Does someone actually know the answer to that?
I kind of have an answer for that, but I'm telling you I'm going to get it wrong. I think it's the John Byrne Superman run, personally, with the variant cover. First variant cover, Man of Steel. Personally,
that's a fair.
I kind of made that up, but I think that it kind of heralds in like a new era, because after that they started doing some other things in comics that modernized like how they marketed them. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know what you
Throw
think.
it in the chat.
I know a lot of people are saying stuff, and
I think there's some according to Hoyle stuff that no, this was the book.
I'm sure someone knows the answer.
And it's probably not that one, but I think in my mind that's probably it.
Who's your favorite X-Men?
Wolverine.
That's easy. Okay, let me see.
And because I'm not a huge X-Men fan, so I think you'd be better suited to talk to my brother, who's a geek about it. I'm not,
Let's see.
It's not that I hate them. It's, if you ask my favorite football team, I have a worse answer because I'm not a football fan.
None. Yeah. My answer is none of the above. This is just a fun. I don't like reading horror or watching horror. I'll get there.
Okay.
I don't like reading horror or watching horror movies, but PreCode Horror is what I collect most for some reason, especially for the covers. That's fair. Because they're so cool.
Isn't that interesting? And that might be it. Maybe those. Yeah, maybe that genre is just more interesting to you, because it's low commitment. You don't have to follow a bunch of characters or know what happened last issue. It's art. It's interesting.
It's fake. Very fake, because it's a drawing, so it's easier to digest.
It's real to me.
Well, movies, they feel real. Anyway, okay, this is what you were looking at. House of Secrets 123 just sold for $2,000 at 9.6. Was it White Pages? That's my question.
No, it was. I know exactly. So he's talking about the one with the ice cream cone with the eyes in it. The House of Secrets.
Oh, that's interesting. I have questions.
I've thought a lot about this. Okay,
like how many are on the census?
Jeff, there's not a lot. That book is. At first, I thought that's too much. Are there? Hold on, I got to talk about this for a second.
Well, then he said House of Secrets 103.98 at 5K.
103.
I don't even know what issue that is.
I got to see the cover of that.
I'll look at it.
The one, yeah. So I thought about it. Do I think that that's worth it? Sometimes I don't think. I think some of the prices these books are getting are too much. And my initial thought on that.
Oh, that's the smoky one. That one. 9.8. 5,000 makes sense.
3K for the 103. I think is.
No, we said 5K.
Oh, 5K.
9.8.
Yeah.
I don't know how to show it. This is like the worst quality. That's the cover.
But they get it.
That's the cover for the 9.8.
Okay, so
oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
That makes sense. I
don't know if there are any 9.8s of that.
Yeah, I don't know anything
if there is, you need a hazmat suit to touch that thing because it's pure black. So it's one of those things that I'd like to see the original art for that, by the way, even though I know it doesn't look like that. I don't know if that's a painted cover or drawn, but
I don't remember. I don't even remember who does it. Who does the cover?
It's a Ryson. So okay. Yeah, that particular cover is such a standout. It wouldn't surprise me if it got 5,000 in auction. I think it would. It could get more, actually. I don't know if any 9/8s exist. I think if there was a 9/8, if there was a or two, yes, it could. Back to the other one. Can you show a picture of that on your phone?
Of the ice cream
102, yeah. So I do think $2,000 is a decent price. If the person overspent in the moment, they won't regret it long term. I don't think you're going to see a lot of those come to market. It's one of the, even people who don't like horror comics, when they see that cover, they like it. I mean, how could you not like this cover? It's just, yes. So I've always liked this cover. I've always thought it was just fun and also really smart. And who's the artist on that? It's not someone who normally does horror. And I'm blank, but I know who this is because I like all of his covers across genre.
It is, oh gosh, Robbins.
Yeah, so that's not Tony Robbins.
Frank
Robbins cover.
Tony Robbins.
Frank Robbins. He did some Batman, if I remember correctly. He did some other stuff. Man, he should have done more horror. That is so good. Anyway, thank you for bringing that book up.
I feel like this
whoever bought that,
open a can of worms. This question.
Whoever bought that scored.
Yeah.
I think that they invested their money wisely. And if given the option to buy that book for $2,000 today, I would have bought it. I would have bought it, but I wouldn't have bought it that day. I had to think about it for a couple of days. Anyway.
This is, I feel like, gonna open a can of worms. Late Silver Age and early Bronze Marvel, good investment or print runs too high? That's a loaded question.
Not really. I think as long as it doesn't touch the MCU, I don't know about it. I wouldn't invest in it. I would only collect stuff like that if I liked it. I think that this is my opinion. Obviously, you know that you could do what you think's right. I wouldn't buy that to sell later for a profit. I would only buy that if I liked it. And I really wanted to own it. But I think what we just learned in the last 3 years is that FOMO is real. People buy things and they think it's going to be worth more later. What I don't like about that is a lot of people, and I made some mistakes too, so I'm not speaking from a place of judgment or I knew better than that. I made some mistakes. I don't want to rely on what other people are going to do later on something that has had a history of not performing at the level I expected to perform at later. So let's look at that. If you talk about like Amazing Spider-Man or Amazing Fantasy 15, Hulk #1, Iron Man #1 that came out in 1968, or any of those, right? If you're talking about the Avengers and the keys in the Avengers or Hulk, what are you talking, which books are you talking about? You could actually look, and if you just want to use something that you could plant yourself on as data, you can look at all of the CGC sales from the day that CGC has been here till now, and look at the growth. So, what's an average growth for a blue chip key? And you're going to see it a good key 2 to 3% a year, right? If you back out the comic boom.
Don't include that. That
well,
doesn't count.
You can include it as long as you wait 5 years. So I think that you always have to drop the top and the bottom, like any statistical, information you're going to have. Drop top and the bottom, basic statistics. 2 to 3% of growth a year, right? So I'm just telling you, if you were to play the S&P 500 the most conservatively you possibly can, you're going to make 3 or 4 times that. Not a great investment. If you like to collect comics and you would like to know that you could get your money back, still risky. Anything that the MCU touched, holy mackerel, it was like the black poison death. It's like some of these books are never going to come back to some of the numbers that they reached. So which book you talking about from Bronze and Silver Age? Let's talk. I'll pick a couple. Hulk 181. Oh, how many are graded?
4 million. I don't know a lot.
All right, let's go later. How about New Mutants 98? There are 24,000 copies graded. Copies getting graded every day. Every day.
Right now, there's 7,000.
Do you think the market can absorb it? I do. I think
everyone wants a copy of that.
Deadpool's cool.
Yeah, everyone wants
Deadpool's cool. What I think the dollar loses enough through inflation that it can sustain prices matching that 2% growth. I don't know if it's a great investment. Never tell somebody. I would never tell someone they should get that. That's the book you want to like. Buy 20 of those for your children's college fund. Are you crazy?
First of all,
you know,
if you can afford to buy 20 Hulk 181s, that's another story.
Oh, I know people that have had more than that.
That's great.
I know people that have had tons. And you know, and now they're selling off a little bit because they see the writing on the wall a little bit with that book. But the good news about Hulk 181 is that Hulk is as an IP, right, as a brand, is always going to be popular. The problem with Hulk is that it touched too much of the FOMO and people spent too much on them. And it really reminds me, if you know anything about the great tulip, debacle from the 1600s, where the price of tulips went up and they never recovered really financially from what happened, right? All of a sudden they were trading tulips for 600, whatever the money was, the Dutch dollar was back then. They had created a false inflation for tulips. The same thing happened with comics. There was a false inflation that went so high. I just got back to comics and what I thought it was a correction. And that was wishful thinking on my part. My brother told me the whole time, he's like, something's wrong. This is not right.
He's like, I've been doing this my whole life. Something's wrong.
He got a little nervous. He wouldn't be able to get the books he wanted. And so he ended up going out and buying a couple. One of them was an Avengers 1. He overspent on that after all the smoke was clear. Fortunately, that book's coming back a little bit because that's a major key. The problem with that particular key book is that it introduces no new characters. So the fact that it introduces no new characters has made it like what I call less of a key. Well, that's good, Rachel.
That's better. I'm not going to get up again.
It's less of a key in those terms, but it's a pretty significant book with great storylines and it made movie history. But I think that resting on the past laurels of the Avengers as a movie franchise was a big mistake for Marvel, and they have to come up with something new now that DC's coming along. And by the way, as a comic enthusiast, collector, someone who sells comic books, why do I want movies to tell me what I like in comic books? It kind of annoys me. I really don't like when, a movie came out and it kind of wasn't good, so now I'm selling all of those comic books. Like, what? Now we don't like that anymore. We don't like Nova anymore because they didn't do a good job with Nova. So Nova sucks.
We hate Eternals now.
Yeah, Eternals.
I hate the Eternals. We hate Madam Web.
I mean, I don't get it. Thank goodness they got Spider-Man right. We all hate Spider-Man,
Well, there's still controversy around Spider-Man's the best Spider-Man.
I'm just telling you, I like who I like. It has nothing to do with the cinema. Thank you very much.
Do you want to keep it? There's still a lot of questions. Or do you want to do this?
Nah,
we've been live for 45 minutes.
Keep going.
All right. I don't want to bore people. All right. So if you could only keep one Bernie Wrightson cover, what would it be? That's such a mean question to ask you.
Not really, because he didn't do that many covers. He really wasn't prolific in terms of, he didn't have 100 covers. I mean, let me think about that for a few minutes.
All right. ILG cosplayer said that whenever he first started following us, he thought NM meant never mind, which I think is funny.
Maybe it does.
Never mind. What do you think of UK price variance?
When I was younger, I didn't like them. I didn't want them. I always thought that I just wanted like exactly what the book originally came out in, right? Not thinking that, well, it originally in England came out as that. So that is what it originally. So I thought that a U.S. comic should have the U.S. price. Okay. That's what I thought when I was really young. Later on now, as a reseller, do I think that UK price variants are a big draw? I do not. I think Canadian price variants are a big draw. Do I understand that? I do not. So maybe it's some of that old thought that I had when I was younger. That's kind of like all I know about that. We get UK price variants all the time.
It is interesting how people just don't care about them. Like it's interesting to me.
I think some
compared to Canadian.
Yeah, some people like them. Don't get me wrong, and some people dig that. And we've gotten some Silver Age books. I mean, some really nice ones that were UK price.
And
variants.
Some magazines that were from like made in the UK that were comics like that were cool.
Yeah, reprints and stuff. They do their own thing, and it's pretty cool. I never shy away from a book because it's a UK price variant for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Copper Age. Like this is when the Copper Age started, according to Mark. Began in 1984 with Marvel Secret Wars limited series. Ended in 1991 with Jim Lee's X-Men series. I like that answer.
Thank you, sir.
And then
thank you very much.
Cosmic also said Secret Wars is what some people say.
That makes all the sense in the world. Yep.
And then someone else said that you were right. So we don't know.
Yeah, but he said he
probably
thinks.
Secret
That's
War.
all we were just thinking about.
Probably Secret Wars.
I'm not. Believe me, I'm not going to debate that. You win.
Bill asked, when you started this channel, did you know that you were going to sell comics?
Yes.
We, I think, had already started selling comics by the time we started this channel.
Yeah.
We were selling on eBay and comic link auctions.
I don't think in my former career, I would never had time to do this. I was working 60, 70 hours a week. So it afforded me the time to do this because I transitioned.
We were slabbing everything and you were slabbing your PC. And that's whenever we started talking about, let's show people PC books that you got slabbed.
I would never slab a PC book now.
No. And I think the big book we had was the one with the Spider-Man cover with him ripping. What book is that? It was a newsstand.
232.
Yeah, and it was a 9.8. That was
that was our first unboxing.
Yeah, our very first unboxing that we did on the channel.
I sold that. It wasn't a PC book though.
Well, it came from your PC. It was from your PC.
I bought it.
Well, we lied then in the title of the video. That's fine.
I don't think
it doesn't matter. Either way, we were selling. Do you sell any comics from Dark Horse? Yes, we do.
That's a little Ice Creek. Hi. Old man Leo. Gotcha.
I know there's a lot of people in here that come to the claim sales. We don't have a ton of Hellboy, but we sell a lot of Dark Horse.
All right, hold on. I have, I was OG at buying Dark Horse back when they became a company. And they're out, by the way, they're out of Oregon, if you didn't know that. That's where they started from. Had a bunch, like Dark Horse. I'm into Hellboy too. I don't have a lot of that stuff. Kind of expensive still, even the first appearances and stuff. I dig it. I don't have a lot though. I can't wait to pick up a collection with tons of Hellboy. I'm going to get excited when I do. So I'm right there with you.
Little Ice Creek asked, I've asked this before, but how do you separate being a collector and a seller?
I'm still figuring it out. So and that's really interesting. Rachel just brought up that I decided I'm collecting Legion.
We have a lot of them.
That was a long decision. And the way it came out is that I'm looking at these incredible high grade copies I have of these first appearances. I've had, as long as 2 years ago, somebody asked me to sell them some. And I said, sure, let me look at them and grade them. I still haven't pulled them out to sell.
Yeah, because you looked at them and you were like, I'm not selling these right now. They're so nice.
I can't sell them. So I think that's how I'm deciding what the delineation is. There are books that I get that I can't sell. That tells me that I'm collecting them.
So
no, I'll make it. Do you remember what number Superman that was, that Neil Adams cover last night?
I don't.
It's a blue cover. It's a Neil Adams cover.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's purple.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing special, but a pretty decent Neil Adams cover. I had it for $80 near mint. A slab copy of that in the same grade. And it very strictly, it was a near mint. At least I do think CGC could give it a 9.6. Near mint's a 9.4. And that's why I was labored on it. Because there's two very, very thin color breaking spine ticks that I think CGC would have still given it a 9.6. 8 sharp, beautiful corners, beautiful, beautiful copy. But the spine ticks were very, very small. So, I examined this book because it was a very high grade copy. It was a 20 or 30 center. Looking at this book, put it up for $80 and no one bought it. immediately. I had a friend that I thought I could sell it to, just showing it to him. Now, as we're doing, this is real. And and Ice Creek was there, so he knows.
He knows.
He knows. I'm not faking when I do this. The more I looked at this book, the more I thought I should have just kept it because I like it, right? If I had books in my backstock like that, I'm so happy, right? So as we're going, I put it up once and it didn't sell. I took it down and thought about showing it again, but there was a part of the back of my brain like, why didn't someone buy this? Like, not what's wrong with the book. What is wrong with you people? So I put it back up again. I'm just showing you guys do understand this is Neil Adams art, right? And it's not bad Neil Adams art because I would tell you if I thought so. This is all opinion, of course. So I put it back up. Was
flabbergasted.
I put it back up, and someone, and I put it away, and I'm like, I'm going to keep it. I'm not fake when I'm saying these things. I actually do keep them. And then someone bought it. And what they couldn't see is the look on my face because it actually pissed me off because I was going to keep it. And if I bring something to sell and someone buys it like that and I change my mind during the sale, I sell it. I mean, that's not the right thing to do. But it upset me a little bit because
that's happened a lot too.
Here's the realization I came to: $80. If I saw that for sale, I would have bought it. And when I'm sitting there looking at that, like, I'll take it. I'll buy that. It was just funny. I don't know if what I'm talking about right now, but that's just something I just experienced in the last 24 hours.
I don't know if we know the answer to this. Do you ever send C1s back to CGC to have restoration removed? Mm-hmm. And if so, what? Yeah, we haven't actually had any books come back C1s.
I don't deal with restoration, professional restoration.
Yeah.
Yet. I wouldn't send it to CGC. I think I could cut something off a book. I mean, and then it's gone, right? I don't like doing stuff to books. I don't use chemicals and I don't like cutting things off. Would I? Sure. I do know some other people too that would do things like that. I'd rather sell the book to someone else that trifles with it. I like to keep my funny books not funny. I mean, I just want to sell a straight up book. Start cutting on them and doing that. I'm not dealing with things like that. I'm not saying I'm not open-minded to it, but I'm not incredibly open-minded to it. I'm not like willing to put chemicals on a book or send it somewhere, change staples. I'm not into that. Because in my perspective, the book's going to outlive every one of us and the next generation and the next generation. Why am I messing with it? It'd piss me off if I knew I just got a 200-year-old book that, boy, 100 years ago, they really messed with this thing. I'm not messing with books. Anyway, I digress.
Let me see. Dave, you have many boxes behind you. Let me see what this says. I think I remember you use CLZ for inventory control. I have a cover price membership, but not too fond of the inventory function. Should I get CLZ?
I'll let Rachel answer that.
I like CLZ. It depends on how many books you have, because I haven't been able to put anything in inventory in a while.
So Jeff we have a friend that buys books from us.
He's in here, I think.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff. He just got CLZ, and he's been buying books for maybe 5-6 months. And I think that he really likes it. So I just showed him some books yesterday, and he pulled up how many of that he has to see if he had the issue I was showing him, and he did. I think that's why people like CLZ.
That definitely helps. I think once you get to like this size inventory, it's hard to keep track because we're moving things out, moving things in, and it's hard to maneuver everything. But CLZ is a great tool.
I think anyone who does this professionally, if you're buying 5,000, 10,000 books at once, and then the next week you buy 3,000, because it's not unusual for us to add 3,000 to 5,000 books a month.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, that's our reality, right? So, and then we're selling that many books a month. So we're at least selling, 5,000 books a month. So when you have that much influx, we would have to have someone working 40 hours a week just doing data input, moving things, and imagine the amount of work you would do in boxes to try to keep them organized. So we have like 40,000 or so books that are kind of like our backstock. And then we have this running amount of books that come in and out. That's why it takes us so long. And with the video we just shot was us like going through some of the OG backstock that we still take out, and I need to keep it moving. And some of this other stuff make it part of a standing backstock. That's why we don't shoot as many videos, because
just so you know,
we're in a growth arc in our business, and
this is our growth arc.
It is.
That's funny.
No,
I like
it
that
really is. And we have 2 other people that work for me, but they have different jobs. So Rachael, what she's in charge of is really more work than one person can do. So it's choosing like what's the most important in the moment. And a lot of times it's not going to be sitting in front of a computer moving inventory.
Although it is very helpful to have things in inventory.
She loves it. And a lot of times you do find things. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I'll say too, like for a collector, like CLZ is a great alternative to a piece of paper that has all your books written on it, an Excel spreadsheet. Like it's a lot easier to manipulate and move around stuff in CLZ than it is on like an Excel spreadsheet or something. And like it's way easier than pulling out a piece of paper at a con, just putting out your CLZ app and finding your book and see if you have it already, whatever.
CB's Bill said Nova sucks. People just hate Nova.
That is Bill's thing, though.
I know, but
Bill hates Nova.
But I do think that CLZ is very user-friendly. Once you get past the initial learning curve that you know is going to exist with anything, you would like it once you got used to it. I would recommend it. It's the only one I recommend. If I was to recommend a software, not that I know them all and I've product tested and I'm going to like, here are the 4. I don't do that.
Well, we use Cover Price, and now that they're connected, it helps. Cover Price isn't a perfect software either.
It was hard to data input there.
It was. And like for a while, we were putting in our data into CLZ and to Cover Price to try and like, and it was a nightmare.
Because
so joining was helpful.
Yeah, we wanted to get prices for raw books.
and see like, values and stuff like that.
A lot of work.
77 Evil Eye asks, what comic do you regret selling the most?
Marvel Spotlight 5 and 9/8.
That was a long time ago.
I don't have any, but I don't regret it.
You just wish you still had it. He wishes he had another one.
I don't really regret selling any comic book. You know, the biggest regrets are the ones you don't buy, not the ones that you sell, I think. Just saying. There have been comic books I didn't get that I'm like, nah. Like we were just talking about that House of Secrets. If I'd have seen that, would I have bought it? I think I'll probably handle something like that differently every time. You know, when I walk away from something like 2,000's too much to, boy, I think I'd pay 2,000 for that a week later. You know, I think I would. Because I don't think it's going to ever be easy to get. I'm never going to, I don't want a 9/8 of that book. I actually want a 9/4. I don't know why I went back there, but a 9/4 is impossible to find. I had a 9/2 and I sold it, and I sold it for a really good price. And it was like I threw a piece of meat at sharks when I did sell it. Could have sold it for twice of what we sold it for.
Yeah.
Do I regret it? Not really.
I mean, there's a lot of books we sell that end up people can sell it for more later because that's just kind of how it goes.
Oh, tons.
And and if anything, that makes our customers happy and that makes us happy. So, you know.
I think sometimes our customers think that we don't realize, but we do.
Like all those Richard Corbin, Dave Stevens, like all those books that we've sold,
you guys,
they're happy now.
We've sold, and I'm not exaggerating, tens of thousands of dollars of Dave Stevens books for hundreds of dollars. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And it's funny that sometimes it's almost like I had to convince people to get them. But
like you want this.
You don't like Good Girl covers? Because we had, you know, except for what was the one that we didn't have?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The one we just got.
Planet Comics, number 1.
Except for the Planet Comics, we had just about every big key. And I don't think we sold one for more than $300. And they were either in near mint plus or near mint. And we had multiples. And over the last 6 months, up till about 2 months ago, we've sold them all. Now, when everyone started to watch that documentary, all of a sudden, every week, hey man, you got any more Dave Stevens?
Well, it just gets more people like
eyes
on there.
We thought it was funny because like every week, all of a sudden,
yeah.
Hey, you got any Dave Stevens? I'm looking at
every
Rachael
week, yeah.
What? Now they want Dave Stevens? It's like we were bringing it all the time, and it was like it would sit up there.
It is funny, yeah.
You think $200 is too much for that book? You know, that same book's going for $1,000 now. Oh, is that too much for a near mint plus for that? I see.
This is really funny. I got more into bronze horror through Dave's interest in it, and it's been spiking more in recent years. Is Dave now officially an influencer, the PewDiePie of bronze horror?
PewDiePie.
Or has it always been popular? I think a lot of people have been talking about bronze horror. And that has gotten a lot of people's eyes on it.
I think like most things, when people talk about anything, or if you're exposed to it, it's an influence. You've been influenced.
Friend is so rude.
You've been influenced, but fortunately,
so mad.
You've been influenced, but the good news is that it's going up. I do think I've made a difference. I've made some impact because the conversation got started, and it's not over yet. Maybe people will come after me with pitchforks and flames because the bottom drops out, but I doubt it.
It's the same thing with the Dave Stevens stuff. It's like they saw a documentary that piqued interest for them, and now they want the books. It's like we talk about these books because you love them so much, and so more people are seeing them.
Well, here's what's really funny. I was talking to a friend of mine today that collects Dave Stevens, and we both have loved Dave Stevens for years. And I was laughing because I'm like, isn't this hilarious that all of a sudden people want Dave Stevens now? Like I was chasing after. We liked Dave Stevens 30 years ago. Why now? And now they're going to like get FOMO about it now? Because he was looking through his stock and he's like, oh man, I don't have that cover. He goes, I got a stack of other ones, because we've always liked it. It was like, oh, so now that people get FOMO over it, now it's good. But it wasn't good before. It was like, I'm not paying $100 for that. That one that's $3,000 now, that's too much money. So my question to everyone is like, why would anyone be influenced? Because I'll tell you that I knew that those were great covers before, but what makes someone want something one day and not want it the next and vice versa? And it's like the one great thing I love about comic books is the more you expose yourself to stuff, and I'm going to show some things in just a second.
You keep saying that.
No, this is coming in the next minute. The more you expose yourself to stuff, I think the more that it opens up the eye of your brain to art.
Your third eye brain.
and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, I didn't notice it that way. Or let's talk about that some more. And all of a sudden that's all you see and you want it, right? Because that's happened to me so many times with comics, and it's other people showing me things. And all of a sudden, okay, I really want that. And I start looking at a certain era, genre, or whatever. And that's happened to me with war books and some other stuff that I really found some artists that I don't know how I missed it, but oh my gosh, gray tone war books. I've been chasing after them for about 2 years now. I just can't find any over, I don't know, a 4.0, but my heart's set on a 7.0. How goofy of a hunt is that?
Cosmic Trucker said, I think people jump on bronze horror because golden age horror is too rare and expensive.
Exactly.
Which is also another super fair point.
Stars aligning.
That is absolutely
stars
another
aligning.
Reason,
right?
Reason.
Stars aligning. So it's like, oh, can't afford that. Because like I said at the beginning of this thing, that's where all roads should lead to to the golden age horror. But now here I am talking about something you can't afford. You watch that like, well, I like that. I might be able to afford that. So here's like garden variety Neil Adams, right?
For front, I swear.
Garden variety. There we go. Now you can see it. You can see this in a box, like you walk by a box. Let's say this is in some beater bag, right? And it's $5. Would you buy it? He signed this one, by the way. He doesn't sign every book. It's flash.
Can you see the signature on there?
Oh, yeah. It's on the bottom. It's right where the light is sitting, right next to the guy's arm. There you go. When I say signed, I don't mean he personally signed this copy.
No.
He signed this piece of art.
You just know it's his art because of his.
And then look at the look on Flash's face. So do I think this is a collectible Neil Adams cover? Is this one that I would go after? And hell yes, I do. Do I think this is one that I hear anyone talk about? No. Unless you collect Neil Adams. So found this in a collection. Is it for sale? Hell no. Because I don't have a 9.6 of this. And do I need a 9.8? No, I do not. I think it's ridiculous to want a 9.8 of this because I don't need to spend an additional 3x for a nice copy. If I had it, if this is a 9.8, and by the way, I think this is a 9.8 candidate. There's one spine stress line right over here that doesn't break color, but I may try to press it out. It's just an absolutely beautiful copy of this, right? This is the kind of stuff that gets me excited because this art, I think, is exceptional. Neal Adams didn't always have, and it's really the way it's set up. It's the way it's drawn. It's the way he produced this whole, with that guy laying down and that look on his face. But anyway, this is the kind of stuff that gets me excited, and I would love a collection full of books just like this. Do I collect Flash? No, I do not. Would I buy? Are there 100 covers of Flash that I would like? Yeah, and this is one of them. And I have others. I have other Flash books. I have other Neal Adams covers. But this is the kind of stuff that I really like, and this is the kind of bronze stuff that I collect. And what's funny is I think if I put this up, it would be one of those things that, oh, I don't know how much you want for that. Oh, $60? That seems like too much. I wouldn't sell this for $400. I'm not kidding. I would not sell this book for $400.
Don't forget that you need to say what your favorite Bernie Wrightson cover is.
Oh, yeah.
So please answer that question by the end of the live stream. His is 96.
It is Fear. It is 100-page super spectacular number 4.
Oh, that should have been easy. That
I had to think about it for a minute. I think that's probably one of my favorite comic book covers.
I'll show it to you if you don't know. You need to figure out how to do the thing.
It does something silly to my soul to see that demon sitting on that guy who concocted him from the sky or from below or whatever. I just think
this is the most
the fact that Bernie put that on the front and back cover. Yeah, I think that's my favorite Wrightson cover of all time.
And the back cover is the Virgin variant.
Yeah, and the back's just that as a Virgin. I think, to me, and I have an 8.5 of that, and that's so far as high a copy as I've ever seen for sale. I heard there was a 9.0 one time, but I didn't catch it. But the cover I have, the only problem with the cover is it has a bent corner on the back cover. So that means it's really clean, and I like that. I'm still looking. I'm still looking for a better copy out there. Yeah.
What is the best book you're reading right now? Are you reading that Animal Man book?
I'm reading Animal Man.
Yeah, he's reading. He got a book that has all.
Have some others in queue. Now I'm starting to become more of a hobbyist at this stage that I'm seeing a bunch of stuff I want to read all of a sudden. I'm like, well, I don't have the time.
That's true. You really don't.
I'm busier than I'm making out, you guys.
You didn't sleep all day yesterday.
I literally, I mean, I'm acting like a tweaker that doesn't tweak. I literally couldn't sleep one night.
I wonder what makes people collect comics, cards, or really anything. Any thoughts?
My brother started to collect cards recently. I think out of, I don't know why.
Nostalgia is like
definitely nostalgia. One. I think he got kind
pop
of
culture is
bored.
Another one.
I think he got bored. He's kind of
boredom.
Combination. I think like he's got a fantastic comic book collection. He's met a lot of his own goals, and he finished as a completist. He's finished up some runs. I don't think he wants to continue to like search it out. And he's going after like 60s, like Star Trek, Lost in Space, stuff like that.
A couple other things really fast.
Okay.
Brewfront wanted to know if you saw that Archie Neal Adams that he sent you.
I did.
Did you look at it? Okay, I was like, I know
Thank you.
It's cool.
And you know what? It looks like Neal Adams, even back then.
And Archie Neal Adams, who would have thought? David Clark says he also has that Flash in high grade. Nice.
I mean, there's other Flashes too, and I know this cover, but I don't know if I've ever owned this book. And I just, man, Neal Adams, I don't like every one of his covers because he's probably the most working cover artist out there. I mean, he was the guy.
He did a lot of that guy. His hand hurt.
He did a lot of covers.
Colored so much.
But when he didn't call it in, and when he did a good cover, the guy makes me want to weep. He was probably one of my favorite artists of all time. And this is one of those covers you could tell he walked away from this cover liking it. It's the way it's set up. It's perfectly lined up.
Yeah, you finished that and said,
just a great cover.
I did that.
Yeah, it's just a great cover.
The Dave Siemens FOMO is killing me. Just when I sit down to look for the covers my dad was missing, so is everyone else. I think that's really funny.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And then Dave's on IV Comics, is an IV Comics user.
I am. Yeah, I wouldn't buy Dave Stevens right now if I was anyone. I do think it should calm down. I really do. I I think it's hilarious. Part of me is because now you figured out that he's the best, good girl artist of our era. By the way, just a side note, I will challenge all of you. Can you find other good girl covers that aren't Dave Stevens? Because there's some dandies out there in the same era.
Might be time to start looking for those. If you want to.
No, it's not. And I'm not even talking about like, oh, this cover should be worth money.
We never want to tell you to buy anything. Can
you pull up? I'm gonna show you a good one that you do not know.
60s metal men are amazing. Grew up with them.
Yeah, they have some great covers. There's a Dead series for you. I mean, no, it's so funny, and they're not the only one. But can you pull up that?
I need you to tell me what it is.
The NAM, that one NAM issue.
Oh, I don't know what number it is.
If you just pull it up in
I'll look
cover price.
I got it.
I'm going to show you a book that when I buy it, I just hold on to them because I know that it's one of those things people don't know about it and they just kind of pass it up. But I think it's a great good girl cover by someone who I don't think people know about. There are Dead series out there that people don't really collect anymore. And that's one of them. But the thing is that people who do collect them really care about them. And they're always looking for good issues. So if I find them, I try to put them away so the people that do collect them. But things like Suicide Squad and some different things from the 60s, I'm trying to think of some other series like that. And there's like 4 or 5 of them that they're just not collected. People have lost interest in them. A lot of war comics are like that. And a lot of like the picture things that had like some kind of photograph, if it's Dale Evans and Dale, Roy Rogers or things like that.
I don't have a password. I have to look on the computer. You keep talking.
There's a lot of things out there that people just aren't interested in anymore. And people who do collect them, the good news is like if you look hard enough, you should be able to find great copies of those books. I never let other people, the popularity of a book, drive my collecting.
Oh crap! I'm just trying to see what number it is so I can look it up. Because I can't figure out what. Here it is, number 23. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to show you guys. If you guys are familiar with the series The Nam, I personally think that that's a great series. It's underrated. It's also something I'm reading. I started to read it and I got busy, but I'd like to pick it back up. I think the covers are fantastic. I like it. I can't find anything wrong with it. Some of the covers are cool, though.
I'm trying to find a picture that's not blurry. 1 second. Okay, here we
go. Yeah, so here's a good girl cover for you. It's just a great cover. So I have like a near mint of this, and I sold the whole set of NAMs. I kept 2 covers. That's one of them for my PC. So here we are, and believe me, they all sold. I mean, there's people out there that want these. I couldn't sell it because I liked it. So
thanks, Hank.
I don't care what other people think really about if I showed somebody a comic book like, hey, do you like this? I don't care. I like it. Anyway, I want to show you this.
Hank wanted to think. I know you really want to show it. But
she won't let me.
Keep telling you.
You guys, I'm not showing you.
It's because people keep talking to us. Wanted to thank you both for your enthusiasm and sheer love for the hobby. I also love your transparency about the business aspects of your adventures. Hank. Thank you very much. It's very nice.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be nearly as much fun to lie to you guys all the time.
So much fun to lie.
Maybe it could be. I don't know.
All right, show your book. Do it.
No, you got to do. Okay. No, I took these out the other day. I went through a bunch of comic books. I have a whole box I brought. I don't know if I'm going through.
We're probably not going to look at any of those.
We're not looking
today,
at any of those.
But we have these 4. Well, 3 because you showed one already.
I brought. What I did is I went through and I'm starting to clean things up, put things together, and I found a bunch of books I forgot I had.
Lie to me, baby.
Whisper some sweet lies in my ear.
Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies.
So I've shown these on the channel. Kind of brushing by them real quick.
I was like, please show it. Please show the hockey cover.
But here's the deal. So the more I look at these I used to call these.
They're so bad. I don't know how to fix it.
I'm gonna take it out. Here's the deal. I call this the backup line. They're not. I don't think they're not the best covers. The more I look at them, the more I like them. And it's like, by the way, I can't imagine I'll ever not have a copy at least this nice. There's no way I'm selling this. I love it so much because this. I don't know why this reminds me of 70s movies like the Warriors, or because for obvious reasons, for just for everything in cinema in the 70s. And this is, you can tell this is a very nice copy. And when I say nice, it's probably a 9.2, but I'll take it, right? And for right now, at least I have a great copy of this. I've been looking at this book almost every day lately, just because it brings me joy. I don't know why. It makes me freaking smile when I look at it. And every time I show it to someone, they like it. Why does horror make people happy? I don't know. Why? Is that cool or what?
It is really cool. Someone asked this, so I might as well answer it now since you're going to put it back in the bag. But someone was asking, is this it? Yeah, what bags and boards you use? Gerber is the best, we think.
Well,
for Mylar.
I don't like the 4 milliliter because it doesn't fold right. So I like the My Lights better. This thing, it turns into like a brick, and you can fit like 20 in a box.
But
I'm exaggerating.
For like protecting your high grade books, we exclusively use Gerber 4 milliliter and full backs. I like the 2 milliliter and half backs, but they're not as protective. Then we use Ultra Pro bags for Silver Age, and we use Silver Age bags for everything, and then just BCW Silver Age boards. What issue number is that? I can't see it. 114. There's that Mylar glare again.
Yeah. So these were not the expensive issues early on. They are now because they're getting hotter. So that's why I wasn't as excited. But the more I look at it, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to sell that. I could. I could actually make quite a big profit. Ooh. You keep your money. I'll keep my comic book. We're both happy.
I played poker with the writer of Nom Comics, Mr. Doug Murray. Did you beat him?
Oh, that's interesting.
Did you take his money?
Well, I wonder, were any of those personal experiences? Did he say that when you played poker with him? Here's another one.
Is he large or is that guy small? Is he like in a giant world where the pool table's huge, or is that guy just a tiny guy?
Does it matter?
These are the questions I have when I look at that cover.
Yeah, but either way, he's still a small guy.
He's a small guy.
Right?
Honey, I shrunk myself and now I'm going to die by the skeleton man. Rollerball Rocco.
Rollerball reminds me of Rollerball. I love this cover. It brings me joy. I like the 13 ball go hit him right in the head as the 8 ball makes it to the corner pocket.
Brian says, Brainwave Film says, thanks, Dave, and your choice of Weird Mystery or DC 100 page Super Spectacular is right up there. Weird Mystery 4, 100 pager is right up there. I had a 9.0. I read that wrong. I don't know.
9.0 is tough grade on that huge square bound behemoth of a book.
This book 56 is my favorite cover of the series.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember what cover that is?
No, it makes me wonder though.
Look it up, though.
I want to see it. I like a lot of those covers. There's one cover where
there's some really cool covers.
There's really cool. There's one cover where there's a soldier on top and there's a guy in a tunnel under him looking up.
This one's like a negative space cover.
That is a cool. You got to show the people.
I was making sure I have the right one. Who did the art on that? That's number 56. The glare is so bad. Can you see it? That's really cool. Yeah, I don't know who did the art on it, but did Doug have Nom comic flashbacks?
That is cool. I like that.
I really want a copy of True Love #1 for the Dave Stevens cover, and I'm an 80s kid.
I have a copy of that.
But every issue that gets graded seems to be a 9.8, and I think they're overpriced. That's fair.
And you know what? You should just hold out and wait for a 9.2 or 9.0. I have a copy somewhere. I sold it and it didn't go right away. I didn't want to talk about it. I don't understand why.
You want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
We can just move on. That's fine. Someone said this is their favorite.
I remind myself of the Soup Nazi because sometimes I get mad if people don't buy a comic book because don't you know what this is?
He does. This reminds me of that House of Secrets that we just looked at. Someone said this is their favorite Nom cover. Who was that?
That's a great cover.
7/7 Evil Eye. You gotta put your face behind my phone. There we go. Yeah, that reminds me of that House of Secrets one with the light.
They're pretty cool. It's a pretty cool series. And then this is I've never really liked this cover too much, but I like the fact it's a gray tone. I used to always think that was like a green beret because that lily pad reminded me of like a green beret. It's got the dragonflies, but the fact it's a green tone, this is probably my least favorite of the three. But it's a very popular cover. It's not my favorite. I have never thought.
I think never gonna sell it.
I think I would sell this one. I think it's a Jack Sparling cover. See, it really is down. I'm not a completist with these. For me, if in my collecting, it's down to what I love. Like, what do I like the most? And then whatever's most popular. If the most expensive one is one I like the least, I'd sell it in a second. It doesn't matter.
Did you grade that Hulk 180 that we got? Someone asked what was the condition.
Oh, I think it's somewhere mid-grade.
Yeah, it's not high grade, and what is the fair? We haven't even looked into pricing that one. We're probably gonna hold on to it for a while.
Not a clue.
Yeah, no idea. No idea. It changes all the time too.
Yeah,
22, the other tunnel rat cover. 22.
I just pulled out. I had all my Star Wars. Believe it or not, I took them all out of their old bags, and I had them raw, just sitting there. But I have what I think is a complete run of. They're all like. Every one of these is a 9/8 candidate.
You've been holding
from someone's personal collection.
I know
I'm not selling.
I'm
not saying that because I want to sell them later. I'm not selling these.
We're just holding on to them.
I not that I want to keep them forever. One day I probably will, but I think that the bottom has fallen out so much. I'm not going to sell something I've held on to for a long time
for nothing.
For what, $10?
Yeah.
I sell them raw, $15. Because here's an example.
Every time I watch a show, I wish I had an extra $10,000.
Here's an example, right? So this book is absolutely pristine.
Is anything deader than Secret Six? That's really funny.
No, nothing's deader than Secret Six. Yes, there probably is something.
There are some other things that I think we could never sell, even if we.
But anyway, I just have. I mean, I'm not going to show them all, but I went through them all and I'm looking at them, and some of them have they need to be pressed, which I'm not crazy. If I have a book in my personal collection and it needs to be pressed, it's going to stay that way. I'm not going to take the time.
Let me go back up. Someone said something about Luis Dominguez has some of the best skull covers.
I agree.
And then Cosmic Trucker said Dave showed a Luis Dominguez cover on a show, and that's what got me almost interested in Bronze Age horror.
Almost.
What? Do you remember what issue it was?
That's a nice one.
Do you know what issue he's talking about?
I
don't either. We showed so many Dominguez books.
It's funny. I've never shown those to sell them. I only shown them because I like them. And check it out. These are all just really, really nice. I just finally have put these
the Star Wars. There's so much Star Wars content out there now. It's too saturated.
Well, I saw Comic Tom and them were talking about Star Wars, and Star Wars #1's been on the top 10 list, which I think that top 10 list is kind of a joke because, those same comic books are on there all the time, but I have a bunch of them, and I'm here to tell you they haven't gone up a single dollar, but they're on the top 10 list every week. I'm like,
people just always want that.
They're just selling, but they haven't gone up a dollar, not a dollar. They go down and up. They're just popular is what they're really saying. But they're talking about, well, there's nothing going on in Star Wars. I don't understand why this is on here. I'm like, what do you mean there's nothing going on? You guys don't watch Bad Batch? I am religiously waiting till midnight on Tuesdays so it clicks over into Wednesday so I can watch Bad Batch. Are you crazy?
Jose said, I still need the Boba Fett cover and Lando's message. Do we have that in that box?
I have everything.
I was like, is that Boba Fett in there?
Yeah. I think it is.
I love that cover, the Boba Fett one.
I don't think I have every book in here, but I have a lot of.
Bad Batch rules. Oh,
I'm obsessed. I actually bought the Pop toys.
Yeah, he has a whole little, and Boba Fett's in there too.
Because I like to look at him. It makes me happy. You know, guys, I've learned if simple things make you happy, then do something simple to make yourself happy. It's just that easy. And really, when I look at some of those Pop toys, it kind of cheers me up.
So you're saying you could put milk and eggs and chocolate chip cookies on the top 10 list because they always sell. Exactly. And man, do they fluctuate in price. Oh, do you collect any Silver Age sci-fi?
Silver Age sci-fi.
Like Strange Adventures. Where is your book?
Can't afford Strange Adventures.
Where's your...
Well, no, I don't have that. What they're talking about, I don't have.
The Weird Science is what I'm thinking of.
That's not Silver Age. That's
it's not?
That's PreCode.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, so I'm getting I'm getting some weird or some Strange Adventures in, but they're a little bit before that, and they're not high grade. Yes, if I had an opportunity to buy some of those books, I would. I've owned some in the past. I would buy a collection of those in a moment.
Lots of love for Bad Batch. Lots of love for Bad Batch.
Bad Batch, man. So these, I don't know if you guys know this, in 9.8, these are worth an absolute fortune, and these are 9.8. I have 2 sets of them. But check it out. If you're a Hobbit fan, and oh yes, I am.
I mean, who doesn't love Lord of the Rings?
Check it out.
Mystery in Space is a great series. We sold some reprints.
See the Gollum?
My precious.
My precious.
I want to look inside of that, actually.
Careful. But
I'll be really careful.
Yeah, don't bend it all the way.
I won't. I just want to see what Gollum looks like in there. See how scared he got.
If you haven't, well, I just want to keep them in the condition they're in, you know.
I just wanted to see what the art looks like in there. Look at him. They're not going to see it. We hates it.
I like it so much. I do. Yeah, I'm trying to kind of avoid the Star Wars. I didn't want to just show Star Wars, and there's a lot. I like this cover though.
Yeah, this is awesome. Actually,
it is. It's really. I like that cover. He looks like a mini man. Oh, I have some romance and stuff in here, guys. This is some of this
I'm not going to drop it. It only happens once in a blue moon.
We have all these this is just a Mark Jewelers, but I find Mark Jewelers all the time. And this is not high grade. But every time I find a Mark Jewelers, I just kind of put it aside. Because I find them all the time now.
Micah says, I'm going to watch The Bad Batch now.
Well, yeah, there's 3 seasons. What I like about it is completely removed from the rest of the storylines. It doesn't have anyone else.
So you can just watch it without knowing.
Yeah, you can not know anything and watch it.
Although I don't know why you would watch it if you didn't know anything about Star Wars, just originally. But
I did. I did know stuff about Star Wars, but that's not really. Yeah, it's so funny. I put the Night Force in here.
Everyone's favorite series, Night Force.
Well, the funny thing is, I found this. I forget where I bought these from, but they were like in immaculate, like perfect, unread condition.
Did we drop a comic book last night during the sale?
No, I dropped it into my hand.
Oh, okay. It didn't. It was Dad, but he didn't actually drop it.
Ooh.
Do you have concerns about color rub when sliding a book into a bag that has a backing board?
No.
I've noticed the books that typically have color rub on the back from the board are modern books.
Color rub happens with friction that is repeated. So, like, I think it's more about being in a box that's getting movement, right? It's not from one time.
But I think because the paper is different on the modern books, it's different too.
Got all these occult covers.
Will happen more often.
All these covers are like pretty cool. I know that other people, you know, the comic community has spoken. Either we hate something, or we like something, or we liked it and now we hate it. But this particular series, I think there's 12 issues, had some pretty wicked covers. And I had such a nice set. I'm like, I'm just going to put these away. And then I continue to pick these up when I find them. If I find them like in pristine, I have so many copies. I just keep putting them away.
I don't recall issue, but I think it was a Weird War Tales with a skeleton pointing like, come in. Oh, there's so many Weird War Tales.
Do you know how many Weird War Tales have skeletons?
So many with skeletons.
Okay.
The best one's the first issue though, to me. So
this is stuff I actually start getting excited when I pick it up. What are you laughing at?
Because you're probably the only one in this chat that
likes
this.
No, that's not true.
I need you to tell me if you love Gold Key Star Trek right now, please.
Gold Key high grade Star Trek is a thing.
The people love it.
That fingerprint's on the bag, by the way, not the book.
I don't even think they can see that, so it's okay.
I like that.
Okay, Grubby said thumbs up. So you got one.
Oh, there are others.
I love them. Okay.
Check that out. It's a high grade copy of Claw.
Super love, Bill says.
There are people that
Matt said no.
No, everyone doesn't like any. We could not get an agreement on any one thing.
I know.
But those are hard to find in grade. As a matter of fact, getting past Fine Plus on those is almost impossible.
Yeah, because they were red.
They weren't.
Some people don't collect Gold Key at all. So.
Oh no! So check that out.
How is 70s Brave and the Bold Batman a senator, a spy, a guy in World War II with Sergeant Rock?
I don't know, man.
The storyline gets a little confusing.
They were running out of things to say. I really don't know.
I love Spack.
Spock is what he meant to do.
I know.
That's very logical.
I hated them until I was 40. There are a lot of gold keys I do like. I just don't care about Star Trek. I'm a Star Wars fan, personally.
No, you're not. You don't even watch Star Wars.
I like the trilogy, the original trilogy. Does that not make you a Star Wars fan?
I wouldn't say you're a fan. I mean, you're not like fangirl in it.
No, it's not like I collect Star Wars stuff, but I like Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's the same amount of energy I like Lord of the Rings because I love the trilogy.
You don't hate it.
You won't notice the fingerprint if you always hold it in the exact position. That's true. If you just cover up the fingerprint.
Oh. Word.
Adolescent radioactive samurai hamsters.
What about them?
You love them.
I know those guys.
Gold Key's awesome, just not their Trek. I think all my gold keys in the 70s ended up in the bottom of my hamster cage. Brutal. Oh! Just pulling out the big guns now. I just saw someone on Instagram put a 9. No, it was on Instagram Live.
It's a pretty nice
9/8 of this.
They're out there.
I had not seen one.
Yeah, that's going to be that book is.
It was like $10,000 or something.
No, like $100,000 or more.
Maybe
it wasn't this. Then it wasn't this.
Maybe it wasn't a 9/8.
It's more than 100,000. This copy right here is very, very high grade. That's why I held it back. I was gonna slab it, and I'm just like, I'll just wait. I think it's a 9/8. That's why I just put it away. It's kind of hard to sell these in a claim sale. I just had to figure it out. Here's some of the romance I kind of put away because it was just going to wait.
Oh, I haven't watched the full Deadpool and Wolverine trailer yet.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Did you watch it?
I watched a little bit of it a couple months ago. I'm like, I'm not going to watch every trailer.
I watched the little one that they came out with a while ago.
I'm not going to watch every one of them. It's going to take away all the mystique. This one's a little yellow for my likings. I wish it was a little brighter. You might not be able to tell, but this stuff. I love this stuff in grade. I would take all this.
We hate love.
Check this out, though. I have some of these I recently got, but I've already.
I forgot there was someone who asked about Bronze Age Charltons. We like Bronze Age Charltons.
Yeah, I've had a lot, sold a lot. Here's like the earliest high grade.
What was the title of one of these? Girls Love. It's just Girls Love. That's it.
This is the earliest high grade
Spoilers. It's a movie.
I have of the Legion.
We just showed.
It's an 8.0.
Yeah.
I mean, these are tough. These are very tough in grade.
We had taken this to a con, didn't we?
Yeah.
And no one looked at it.
They don't want to spend money on it.
Yeah, it was expensive.
I mean, that's what it is. Is like this is probably, I don't know, $600 or $700 book raw. They don't want to spend money. People, and I get that because for obvious reasons. Oh, here's some fun. Here.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. What number is this?
One.
Oh, this is number 1.
Yeah.
There she is.
It's torn. I picked that up in a collection, and unfortunately, it has a tear on the front cover.
I'm trying to see where it is. Oh, yeah, it's on the front.
I was so disappointed. I saw this. I'm like, yes! That would be PC, by the way. I wouldn't sell that.
Also, there's Archie in the TV.
Yeah. I was really happy to have it because it's really high grade. I'm going through it like, oh yes, and then it's got a tear on it. But these are super high grade. I couldn't believe how nice these were when I was going through them.
This is a 9.2. We had tried to sell this at a claim sale as well.
Oh, I just have some random. Here's some random. These are all near mint mints. And
they're all in my list.
I was going to sell them at my claim sale. I might still. I just put them in this box because
this is Masters of the Universe.
I think I tried to sell them and people weren't interested in them.
Yeah, I mean, near mint raws, they get pricey if they don't want to buy, high grade.
Yeah, I'm not going to sell them for half. They're going to be expensive.
Yeah, first issue special 11.
Yeah, I think I tried to sell it for like $80 or $100 or something. No one wanted it, and I get that no one wants it. It's just not It's not hot.
Amazing Adventures 1. We actually did sell one of these. We had 2.
Yeah, those are expensive slab. I have a price on that for $85.
Yeah, it's a reprint, right?
Yeah.
Of the X-Men, yeah.
Well, it's cool because I think on the inside it's got a giant size X-Men. Number one,
right on the front page.
On the back cover or on the front cover, that's like a full reprint. I don't know if I don't think this book. I don't think this book is a book someone should have slabbed, and I don't think you need a 9.8. This is my opinion. Why would you want that in this book? Because it's a reprint, and for me, it's like this is not the one that I would want to spend money on. I'd want to spend one. Personally, I'd spend money on a book that's not a reprint, that it's a one-off. For me, if I was buying like investment grade books.
Hang on. I was trying to look up this. It was Weird War Tales 24 is the book that you showed that spiked Cosmic Trekker's interest. Oh, it's this one.
Oh yeah. Oh, that cover.
Yeah, that's super fair.
That's
really
like
cool.
Haunt My Dreams type.
It's a great cover.
That cover's so good. That art is so good.
He almost got into Bronze Age horror from that. Almost. Almost.
Well, you don't have to be. You know what's interesting? You don't have to be into Bronze Age horror to like that and covers like that, or to be into Dominguez. I mean, he did other good covers, so I get it. I mean, it's no different than us looking at the NAMM covers, and there's a couple of really good NAMM covers. But you don't have to be into war comics to like those NAMM covers. So I think sometimes being a cover collector throws people off. They think there's something wrong with that. I don't.
This is another near mint.
So like a 9.8 of that, how much should that cost? What am I going to sell? That's why, nah.
I was like, did I show the price? I didn't know.
I'm not selling that because like no one wants to spend a couple $100 on a raw book like this. I'm not selling it for 50. It's a 9.8. I'd stake my life on it. Who knows? It actually might be a 9.9 or a 10.0. I'm not playing that stupid game.
We don't know what that.
Who knows? Who knows how many books I've
That's how Spider-Man really looks. Exactly. He's a spider.
Yeah. This is.
Get it right. Doc Ock and Spider-Man.
If you weren't in the Matrix, that's how he really looked.
Did you ever come across a Silver Surfer poster from 1973 where he's battling Mesto? I had one once and sold it.
No, but that probably annoys you that you can't find it.
I'm sure that he would want that if he saw it. He likes posters.
So I've recently, and these I've not put in the right bags yet.
Yeah, they're not in great.
I got these in a collection, and I was processing them to sell them. I was talking about this in our last video. These books are so high grade. Barry Windsor Smith art cover to cover. They blew my mind. I am not selling them because they're so pretty. And this one is expensive. I mean, this is if it's a 9.4, it's probably, I don't know, $400 or $500 if it was slabbed. It's such a pretty book. I'm sorry, I should show it.
You're holding that in the weirdest way here.
You're covering up the whole cover here.
Just Hulk's little body.
There you go.
How do you feel about Weird War Tales 198 that sold for over $10K?
That's right. That book's super tough to get.
That book in low grade like flies off the shelf. It's crazy.
So like we get stuff like this, you know. I don't know why. We'll probably try to sell these again. I didn't look through this box before I grabbed it.
Oh yeah, there's some really good Wolverines in here.
Yeah. Oh, here you go. Somebody was asking. This is not.
Oh, let me take the sticker off.
Well, yeah.
It's a 9.0, but.
Which, I mean, it's an expensive book. You know, the thing about these books, when they're not, when they're not in super high grade, they become more affordable. I'm not trying to sell it. None of this for sale. I literally just grabbed this box. This is a 9.8 though.
Given the current economy, are you guys still buying or considering buying slabs? How do you guys view signatures on books? Oh yeah, someone had asked that earlier too about CGC and does it bring more value? Depends on the signature for that specific question.
Did we sell that book last night?
No. Do you want me to get it?
Yeah. I have a signature book that's interesting. I'd like to show you guys just because it's it begs that question itself. It's because it's a book that with CGC now offering to do signatures when someone's not on site, signature verification, it opens the door for them to be able to verify things. And we got a book just like that. So I don't know. I'm not a big signature guy personally. I don't care that much about them. I know other people really like them, and I get that. So, oh, not that, the aliens.
Oh.
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking of this, but
I'll show this. I don't know why that was the one.
No, Rachel was thinking I was talking about this book, and I wasn't, but this is fun. This is wow, there's so much reflection. This is Justice League 19. It came out in 2013, and it's a mad parody. And Argone signed it, and it's a really good signature from him. I saw that someone had this listed for $250. I picked it up in a collection. I think it's fun. It looks like a Mad magazine cover. Okay. You know, I think these are really niche-y. I think you'd have to be a huge Mad magazine and a huge Argone fan.
I mean, that wasn't the first Boba Fett. That's just, we have the first Boba Fett too.
No, it's not. But no. I just, yeah.
Yeah, that's just the one that you had.
This one right here is Dark Horse's Alien #1, the first aliens in a comic book. It's very fine. It's signed by both the writer and the artist inside. It's dated by them, and it's signed up here.
It was July 24th, 1988.
Yeah, so they both signed it. It doesn't have a COA, but I really have no doubt it's their signature. So how do you price something like this out? I looked for another copy, didn't find. I haven't done as deep of a dive as I think I could, but it's hard. I did not see another copy that was signed by both of them. I can assume this was signed at a convention. There's got to be another copy out there somewhere, because they both put the date on it specifically, and it was at release of this comic book. So what happens now? Should I send it to CGC? I haven't sent anything in a year and a half. I probably should, I guess.
We do have a stock that we are ready to send.
Yeah, maybe I'll just send it in and see what they say. By the way, I think this is great. I think this is a very fine. They'll probably give it, I don't know why 9.6, the way they've been grading lately. I don't know.
I don't know, because it's on the inside cover. We talked about this on our sale last night. I don't know why anyone would want to slab this, because then you couldn't see the signatures.
I agree.
So this is a book that you should buy.
I agree.
Did you press this?
Yeah.
Someone was like, press it. It's been pressed.
I did. Well, pressing is, the only reason I pressed it is because it had bends on it, but it didn't improve the grade. I call that a customer service press. Sometimes
nicer.
Yeah, sometimes I simply press a book because I think it will look better to the customer. But it's not to improve the grade. It's just I want someone to really enjoy the book, and I think it looks better. But it's not going to increase it by $1. It's just simply to make the book look better. Here's some more. Here's another Captain Atom. I have some of these that are some of the highest grade copies I've ever seen. These are 12 centers, mid 60s.
How much would you price a book if Neil Adams signed it? I don't know.
Well, I have a bunch coming in. A guy sending me some keys with his signature. I'll let you know.
So what if Neil Adams and Danny O'Neill signed a Batman book from the early 70s?
Yeah, I mean,
worth some money.
I find that interesting. It's I think people get signatures only to pump up the price to slab it and sell it. I wouldn't pay more for that personally. I don't want Neil's signature. I think his signature tends to be kind of ugly. He didn't sign things great. And if he calls it in even a little and gets sloppy with it, makes it worse. Neil Gaiman had a beautiful signature. I'll tell you the best signatures I've ever seen. Barry Windsor Smith, Frank Frazetta. Oh, Frank Frazetta's signature is candy. He wrote beautifully. Bernie Wrightson had a great signature.
What was that one that you had that you found in the middle of the book?
Oh,
the Western. I don't remember.
It's my boy.
His boy.
My boy Blue.
I don't know who it is. Okay, Grubby said, I'm surprised no one grabbed that alien. I think it was
the
crowd
price.
Just wasn't it.
I think it was. I think the price. It's price sensitivity. So the book itself, in very fine, goes for around $100. I'm charging $275. Don't know what to charge. I'm not going to. Steranko has a great signature. I agree with you on that. I love Steranko's signature. I love his signature because he spells it out and it's every letter.
You can see his name instead of
right. Yeah, Steranko's
great.
Simonson.
Yeah, he has got a good signature too. We have that Thor signed by him.
Yeah, it's pretty common book, but this is. I think that this book's pretty inexpensive in that grade. So if you were going to buy this and you wanted the easiest time selling it later, that's probably the right grade on that. These are all like super easy to, like, when I get books like this, I don't know why we didn't sell that. This is pretty low grade. It's like
Spectacular Spider-Man's kind of an up and down series for us.
It's not even in a nice bag. I think I'm afraid to switch bags. It's going to fall apart on me.
Oh, is that one struggling?
This is a funny book because
Mike Zeck and Walt Simonson have nice signatures.
Mike Zeck's my boy.
That wasn't the boy we were thinking of.
I know, but
Who was it?
I'll think of
it.
Yeah, no, it's Kubert.
Joe Kubert.
Joe Kubert has a beautiful signature.
Yeah.
This book is so. I think that with a press, it would get a 9.6, and it's like, for me, it wouldn't be worth that much, so I just keep it because it's such a pretty book.
Kevin Eastman and Jim Shooter. Oh yeah, Jim Shooter. His signature is good.
He signs a lot too.
Can you guys talk about CGC applying 9.9s more recently? You and I haven't even really talked about that.
Well, I think
we're skeptical.
Here's what's going on. I
didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Keep carbs under 20.
I haven't really. Yeah, this is a great book. I've had 9.8s to this before and sold them, and so far I just haven't put that in the.
Oh, Mike Rell. Did I say that? Someone had mentioned Mike Rell.
I think what's going on, and this is just my opinion. I had a guy I knew several years ago, and he got cards. He was in the card market, and he's like, now that CGC is doing cards, I don't know why they don't give them 10s. Everyone else does. They give them 9.8s. I think it's that. I think that they're done with being the only people that don't give 10s. So they're getting ready to like make that transition. What does that do to 9.8s? That's why I think they're willing to like regrade everything and push it up. I don't know. I think that's kind of it.
Matt said he has this signed by Neil Adams. That's really cool.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice of books. Whoever got that, like, this was the book they had signed. The problem with this book is it needs to be pressed to get the spine roll out, and there's a way to press it and do that. It's just a long process.
You can smell the cologne coming off Stranko's signature.
Gross.
That's really funny.
Stranko's a funny cat, man. I've seen him before, and like, hey, you want to talk to him? Not really. I love his art. I'm going to watch it from afar. Here's what every discerning collector needs: is a copy of Isis No. Why you laugh?
Because that's a very specific type of person. I only like iconic creators. I have a Sandman one signed by Gaiman and would love a Watchman with more signature, but don't think he signed any.
I agree. Here's a nice book. Everything here is like near mint that I just put away because it's like here's like the price I had in this, and I'm like, I don't know, I'll just hold it.
We're not big on signatures either. We don't actively look for signature books. They kind of just fall upon us in collections.
This is a nice book right here. They don't just grow on trees and grade like this.
CGC promoting 9.9s as a new business model. They are going to make everyone crack open their 9.8s to resubmit.
Not me.
Not me.
Oh gosh.
It's interesting. The market will fluctuate. It's already been fluctuating in slabs anyway.
Oh, here's a pretty one.
I want that Isis. That's what
Bill
said.
I have the whole set.
But it was Bill. I think Bill already has one. Don't you already have one?
I've got them all.
Clyde said Cravens.
Yeah, the Cravens are nice.
Yeah. These are all future giveaways, right?
Yeah, we're giving these away.
Yeah, especially this one.
No purchase necessary, just because we're nice,
Dr. Doom.
This is 9.8.
Stranko looks like a guy my grandma would date and thinks looks hot and pretends he draws comic covers. He's so odd. Timothy Stranko.
Yeah, I was going to slab this, but I don't know. It's been in there forever. Can you pull it off?
Oh, slab.
And the other one, just so they can see the cover.
That bag is worse.
Even the bag has got wrinkles. It's been in there so long, just because I like these covers.
We just pulled out a newsstand of that, or back stock.
Yep. Oh, I got something on here and it says porn. I'm like, what is this craziness?
Oh, it's something naked in there then.
I don't like it. I don't like my comic books with naked people. I don't even know why this is in here. It's Web of Spider-Man. I don't know. But this is nice. Oh, I forgot about this.
Someone asked, how many storage racks do you have behind you?
A lot.
There's a lot of books behind us.
We got about 50,000 books back there. That's a good one.
What number is that?
Man Wolf.
Oh, I couldn't really see it.
Here's like MCU killed this poor book. Just killed it.
Anything Moon Knight's dead.
Everyone had to have it. They were willing to spend $2,000 on 9.8. Now I think people throw it out when they see it now.
I'm sad. I really liked the Moon Knight show.
I do too.
So I'm sad.
I think people put too many expectations. This is really nice.
I feel like
nice that is.
I feel like it did everything it was supposed to do. You know what I mean? Making sure I didn't miss any questions.
Check this out. This is such a nice book. I haven't even shown you this, Rachel. Look how pretty this is.
101.
Yeah, it's just really, really high grade.
Old boxy.
Yeah, and these I had such a nice set of warlocks. I'm like,
Tut turns over in his grave when you pull out Moon Knight.
I had such a nice run of warlocks. I just decided to hold on.
We don't have any comic spinner racks. I really don't know where we would put one if we did have one.
There's Pip. Is there? Hey, what's going on?
Did we just show this one?
Another copy. I had another. This is a super high grade copy of this.
You have 50,000 books.
Yeah.
And we have about 3 or 4 short boxes.
We sell about 500 a week.
Yeah.
About 500 a week.
Yeah. More than 50. We typically sell.
Look how nice this copy is.
A majority.
All of these copies are this nice, but just so you guys can get an idea.
But a lot of these we're not planning on selling now. So that's
well, yeah, I have to have a back stock. So as time goes on, I mean, I have to have something to sell later, right? Yeah. All of these warlocks, though, they're not hot right now. So if I put these up, even a near mint, they wouldn't go fast.
Not unless there's
not in a live sale.
In our sale.
See, here's what's interesting about the way we sell. I never knew I would do this for a living. And we have like 100 people. We actually have one of the best claim sales in terms of like we have people show up and we sell out. What a funny and weird way to sell comic books. You show up, somebody shows comic books, you either buy one or you don't, right? You don't get to choose what comic books we show. You're going to show up and hopefully a book that you like is there, right? Well, I don't buy comic books like that typically. I like to I'm very strategic about how I buy comic books, except if you're selling high grade comic books, I'm way less strategic. If I knew that they were high grade, there's so many things you can show any genre and there's something I like in it. Like, oh, do you have oh, you're selling Archies. Do you have right? So I like a little bit of everything. So I would buy them like that if they were high grade. Well, we're high grade. So everything's not high grade, but we have near mint raws every week, right? I'm showing you some of that stuff. We sell out, which is unusual. There's weeks where we sell every book, but sometimes we don't. It's just like we didn't hit the mark last night. We sold about 50%. It's probably the least we sold in a while. It's Friday night. You know, it happens sometimes on Fridays. Mondays, we get a little busier. So it's just an interesting way to sell. I didn't know I was going to do it like this. Sometimes people fight over them. You get 5 or 6 people that wanted the same book, right? Sometimes I think people think we're crazy because we don't charge as much as people think we should. Sometimes we charge way more than people think we should. So it's really, we have a lot of relationships. A bunch of people in our stream right now buy books from us, right? So I love it. I think Rachel loves it.
We were thinking the other day about how stressful it can be for a buyer, though. So it can be pretty stressful coming into one of our sales and hoping to get the book that you want that you think we might have.
It's fun. I mean, it's super fun.
It is fun. We have a good time. Someone asked how many trips to the post office we make. We have so many packages a week now that the postman comes to me.
Yep.
He takes them from me, and he's great. We love our postman.
We have a personal relationship with our postman.
He's a very nice man.
Thank God.
I know. I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, because we probably have about, I'd say 40 to 50 packages a week.
At least. You know you want it.
Yeah, Eric said you guys are so transparent on your grades. It really sets you apart. You know, we had someone return a book. We don't usually have people return books, but like we just graded it wrong. There was like a stain on it or something, and it honestly was embarrassing because we're so like strict on grading. So like if we like ever make a mistake or something, it's like we try really hard to not do that. We want to make sure that you guys get the books that we say that they are. It can be stressful, Steve. I get that. Especially because Instagram can be so like weird.
Yeah, to me, I think we're doing it the way you're supposed to do it. But then again, we tell you what grades things are. I watch some other people that don't, and I'm like, I talk to my TV when I'm all by myself. I was watching it. This is not to put him down. I was watching Mint Hunter, and he does one. He puts a book up. He put up a Superman 20, and he's like, "This is a huge book." And he put up Superman 20, and I'm like, "Okay." I didn't think it was a huge book. It's Superman 20 because he's like $800. It's not a huge book for $800. I showed you some books that were a lot more than $800 in this little run. $800. I'm like, great. What grade is it? He didn't say anything. I'm like, you gotta say what grade it is, dude. I would not buy a Golden Age book without knowing what grade it is, without knowing if it's been trimmed, without knowing if it has pop staples, without knowing if it had 8 staples, without knowing if it had. I mean, I have a lot of questions.
So many questions.
But it starts with, what grade is it? He never said. And we continue. And next book, and that's me. Now, he sold a lot of books. I watched his streams, right? He sold a lot of books, but he never said what grade are. So that's not me. I say what every grade. And then I start taking books out. I'll take books out in my stream and show, but that's a me thing.
Do you see it? It's this one right here. I'm not going to put that on the screen.
How did you know she was thinking that? She hates when I do that.
Well, I don't want to talk bad about anyone.
I wasn't. Was that negative? I'm just sharing with the people. I'm sharing with the people, Rachel.
Well, Bill, I was stressed out at the first 5 sales because we had no organization. Remember those first few sales where like we just would get a box? I remember one of our first claim sales, we just had a box of spawns. They were not priced. They were not graded. But we sold the whole box. And like I
don't remember that.
It was like when Bill was there. He knows. Okay. There's some people that said stuff.
What'd they say?
I'm looking. It's really hard to trust buyers online. You guys have taken a lot of the guesswork out by being honest. Appreciate that.
That's the least you should expect out of a human being, if you ask me. Well, could you not lie to me? Thank you very much.
Honestly, though, it's hard to find sometimes.
I'm just looking for someone who doesn't lie or try to steal my money.
And they're trying to just make money and stuff. It's like, obviously, this is our business, but we also...
We're actually looking...
trying to be honest people.
I'm not looking to make a sale. I'm looking to have a customer that is actually my customer for a long time. So it's a little different, I think, when you're looking for customers and not looking for sales.
Do you worry about a buyer swapping out a book that they bought? No.
Well, we don't get returns.
Yeah, it's like the very few times that it happens. That's what I was saying. It's like when it does happen, which is maybe 3 times in the entire time.
No, we've had damages, and we're not really responsible for them, but we take care of our customers.
Yeah, if USPS damages something. But even that, like,
we've had one time there was a stain that we didn't see.
That was the one I was talking about.
We immediately took care of that.
Right.
So,
which, like, again, it's embarrassing whenever something like that happens.
So we don't have, we've sold about 15,000 books. We've never had one except that one time for a stain returned because of grade.
Mm-hmm.
Except in damage, like it got damaged. So that's pretty good. That's the way it's supposed to be. I got not a lot to say about that. You're supposed to do that.
Most sellers just throw up a book and don't mention condition. I instantly won't pay their ask. It's just so interesting to me.
My brother's watching one and somebody put a book up and he goes, well, what grade is that in the chat? And they go, oh, it's really nice. And he goes, well, is it at least a 9.2? And he goes, oh, no. And the price was like, because, okay, let's say that you're not putting a grade on a book and you put a book up, then you can make some inference. Like I assume it must be a 9.2 because it's like 9.2 price. Like, I don't get it. Hey, look, it used to be like, this is what I'm selling you. If you want my version of this, this is how much it costs.
Which what a stressful way to be too.
So we've already bought more than one collection with our books in them, and I'm okay with that because I know one thing: that book is in that grade. Whatever that book is, that's a 9.2. Okay, let's keep going. I know that's a 9.2.
Okay, let me go back up here. Bill said, I remember the spawn sale. I miss those spawns. Hang on. I gotta go back to the top.
Okay.
Best feeling Oh, best feeling is going through long boxes and discovering something you didn't realize you had. We just did this in the video that we're going to post this week. One signed by Dave Stevens. Nice.
That's really nice. I love that feeling. Dude, I like going through long boxes anyway. Finding surprises. Yeah.
I spent $175 on a 1 of 10, was shown and communicated to be a 9.6. I got it and looked at it and thought it was. Sent it to CGC. Got a 4.5. Oh, water stain.
Internal on the cover, I assume.
Oh, like it probably bled through the cover?
No, sometimes you can have, I wonder if it was on the page, or is it tide line? It was tide line. There's a tide line inside, probably.
Yeah, stains are probably the thing that is the most interesting to me. In the CGC guide, I was just looking at this because we had a book that had a bunch of small stains on the back cover. The CGC guide says anywhere between a 4.5 or a 9.8 can have a stain on it. And in the description, it's like, it really just depends on the stain. And I'm like, that's not helpful. That's not helpful at all.
It was a little bit because, it's one of the things, the one I was talking with Rachael, one of the things that we ding the most for is stains. And it's stains that you probably couldn't see. And you'll see it in our claim sales all the time. Little Post-its we have. It'll say stain.
Yeah, we'll write it on the grade paper so that we remember.
So like we'll have a book and we'll say, like, this book looks really nice. It's got a stain on the back cover that you can't really see. But we can. So you'll get a book and you'll think you're looking at it like, this looks like a 9.4, but it's a 7.5. And we always go pretty tough on stains. Why? Because we've learned. I mean,
and it's not like how other people are like, this is so nice, and then it's a 4.5. It's like we try to say what it actually looks like.
Yeah, we'll let you know because for instance, I mean, and like the one time that we missed one and we got embarrassed about it, it was very noticeable when we missed it.
Yeah, it was honestly like,
and that literally, Rachael and I are standing talking to each other, and I freaking blushed talking to her. I'm like, how did?
It's like so embarrassing.
What?
Okay, let's see.
Because we were better than that, but that's one of the things I think we see the most in 70s books and 60s books and in those eras is people like 8, and they're reading their funny book, having lunch at 7-Eleven, walking home with their Slurpee. I was like drinking coffee, drinking beer, whatever it was, at a PX somewhere. That's what they did. It was part of their enjoyment. They're not collectibles. They're something you throw away a lot of times when you get done with it, unless you're a collector.
PSA Grading recently released that they will be checking for clean cards. Do you think CGC will do the same with comics? I think they do already check for that.
Well, they clean their comics, so how are you going to check for that?
I mean, they look for like canvassing and stuff like that, which is pressing.
They do.
Like a pressing thing. I think they do look for like color changes and stuff from cleaning.
Well, if you clean using dry cleaning methods, you won't be able to detect that. If you clean using wet cleaning methods, I would rather them detect that. To tell you the truth, I don't like what they're doing with peroxide and blue light personally, because if you can detect that, then we have a problem. Whatever they're checking for, if you can detect it, then you should be able to call it out. Is that wrong? You shouldn't be able to tell. That's all I'm saying. Don't mess with my funny book in a way that you can easily tell that something's been done to my comic.
We're actually from Washington, Matt. A lot of people think we're from Portland. I don't know what that means. I guess we give that energy, but we live in Washington State.
Portland has a bigger comic community, though.
They do. I mean, but like Comic Tom and Golden Age grew in Washington too. So Pacific Northwest.
There's a lot of people here.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in Washington, but
because the sun never comes out, so we have to read comics.
Yes. We take a lot of vitamin D.
We have to play grunge music and read comics.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, we've been live for 2 hours. I'm tired.
Yeah, she's done. That's her day off.
I know, I'm supposed to be off today.
So just so you know, Rachael actually works for me, so she gets paid. You might think it's a labor of love, and it is, but she actually gets a paycheck. But
it's my livelihood.
but she came. I mean, Saturday she gets 2 days off, and today she said she'd come in and help and do this. So I appreciate her like doing this.
Well, I'm going out of town next week, so I wanted to make sure we had time to record videos because we never have time to record videos.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made things better, right? Because she's going out of town and stuff. But it's really been the most rewarding thing for us to like be able to spend all the time together. And the funny part about it is, at least 8 hours a day we're working together, and there's days we don't talk for 10
until
minutes.
we go in front of a camera.
We're so busy because we do different things, you know. But it's a blessing that we get to be together. We dig it, man.
Comics testing, I don't know. We decided to go live like a couple days ago. And so we don't have like a consistent live stream schedule currently.
There's not much that's consistent other than the fact that we're lucky to do our sales when we do.
And you're right, okay, Grubby. High grade and stains do not go together. I know, a 9.8 with a stain, I'd love to see that. Like, what does that look like? CGC.
I'll tell you the thing that stains are great for. There is something. If you like your books to look nice, but you don't want to pay the nice money, no,
nice
this
money.
is right.
It's just a funny way of saying it.
Some people, you can play a stain like, hey, that stain's on the back cover. That book, it looks like a 8.5, but it's a 5.0 because of a stain. That's really making sure that people grade their books accurately. Or if you're buying it at a convention and you see a stain, like someone has the price like it's not stained, I'd point it out like there's a big stain. They got to come down or they're not reputable, right? And I don't mean spit on it before you. I mean actually stain on it. Because I've pointed that out to people, like, oh, there's rusted staples, there's a stain, and right, you know, they might not have known that, and that's fair, right? So I'd point it out. Hey, thank you. All
Thanks,
money goes to Rachael. If you say all money goes to Rachael.
That's so funny.
That's very nice.
I love what I do, by the way. This is not work to me. This is fun. I am tired.
I only pay her.
That's just 'cause I'm tired.
I only pay her $1 an hour, so she needs any money that you're willing.
I have a mortgage, so I gotta make enough.
It's a very small mortgage because I only give her $1 an hour, so she lives in a
tiny
cardboard
shack
box in my backyard. Okay. So I'm just kidding. Everything I just said.
Obviously, I hope that was obvious.
So what I've learned is that if people aren't as concerned about high grade, or they're not as concerned about like getting investment grade books, stains can be an interesting way. Stains, some other things that they can bring a book into lower grade and still make them look high grade. They can get people cheaper books. So I found that out because we'll have books that are 5.0, 6.0, and they sell pretty well. Now, a big hole in the front cover, that's not as easy to sell.
Yeah, we just sold a book that had a big hole in the middle of it.
What did we sell last night I'm afraid if they take it out of the bag.
Oh, it was Journey to Mystery. Brewfront bought it. Are you still here, Brewfront? Journey into Mystery number 82 or something like that. I don't know. Cool. It was basically like it had been ripped apart and put back together again. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
It was like a 0.5. It was a pour.
Cool cover. The picture on the cover is like one of those monster covers.
It's really cool.
Dude.
Yeah, you don't ever want to take that out of the bag though, because it's just going to disintegrate.
She has to go now, and that means that's good because I can stop. I'm tired.
We're both very tired.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. Sorry that we were very late.
Jerry Lewis comics. There's some Adams covers in there too.
Do Jerry Lewis telethon thing. Talk until your voice disappears.
Dude, I used to watch Jerry Lewis telethon. I'm from Las Vegas, so I lived in Las Vegas when they had the telethon. So it was kind of a thing for us, but I noticed a lot of people don't even know what that was. But the Jerry Lewis would have a muscular dystrophy telethon every year. And in Las Vegas, when you live there was a buzz of activity going on at that time every year. And he'd go on stage and not come off till he raised his amount of money. His tie would get untied. He'd get all sweaty. I'm sure he stunk. He'd have all these people coming over to the casino. It was at it was at the International Hotel in Las Vegas. You'd have all these entertainers coming. They'd sing a song. Hey, send us money. I used to watch it because you'd wake up 3:00 in the morning and you could turn on Jerry Lewis telethon. Thanks for bringing that up.
Do you buy original comic book art? You have purchased original comic book art.
I just picked some up. I'm going to show it some other time. I got some horror stuff. That's cool. You guys will like it. I don't know where it is.
I don't either. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I hope that...
Have I seen it? I don't know. I hope it's not lost.
Yeah. Oh, I hope you didn't throw it away or something.
Oh, that was what you got from...
Yeah.
Yeah. I know where it is. It's somewhere.
I don't typically. Once again, I don't know enough about it to buy it. And the guy that I got this from, I like, he tried to sell me a lot more of it, and I had to back off. I'm like, I don't know enough to buy this. It seemed, he said, this is like really inexpensive. And it wasn't. What he was selling me was actual money. It wasn't $50, right? So I'm like, it's probably cheaper than you would normally, but I don't know that. So I can't spend like a lot of money on this, although I like it. So
do you have any interest on selling on Whatnot? We talked about it.
Yeah, we registered for it early on.
Yeah, back whenever you had to like interview for it, which was interesting. Like, I don't think you have to do that anymore.
No.
So we have a Whatnot account. We've talked about selling on Whatnot. We've avoided selling on platforms that have fees, but I don't know if we're going to do that forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about it with Rachel. We bring it up.
We talked about it a few times. We're not sure.
I like Instagram. There's something about Instagram feels like home to us. I mean,
I do feel like a lot of the community that we've,
I don't want to give that up
on Instagram will go to Whatnot also, but
I like the people on Instagram and they're our customers, and we're kind of loyal to that.
We don't have any plan of leaving Instagram, but if we did sell on Whatnot, we probably would just sell different stuff. Like we probably do like mystery boxes or like boxes of comics and like a discounted price or something like that.
Yeah, so I showed you in the next video that we put out, I show a stack of books and how I kind of grade and make decisions to sell my high grade claim sales.
It is very different.
We have a lot of books left over.
It is very different, which is why we're hesitant. And it's so saturated. Like there's so many people on Whatnot selling
comics.
The vibe
is totally different.
And like we're on the fence about it. We talked about it. If we did sell on Whatnot, it wouldn't be the type of stuff we saw on Instagram.
Rachel went on there and bought some stuff.
I won a giveaway. I just went on there, and then it's a little addicting, honestly. There weren't a lot of people at 11
Her husband got concerned. He's like, "Are you going to be all right? You were on there for a long time."
It was like 11 p.m. and there wasn't a lot of people on there selling stuff, but I won a giveaway, so it wasn't very good. A lot of people are saying don't do it. We've talked about it. I don't know if we're gonna do it.
Yeah,
I'll let you know.
I don't know why some of it feels like it'd be a sellout or something. I don't know where that, like you sell out and you go to Whatnot. It's like doing Vegas when you're like, at the end of your career.
Well, the auctions things is interesting, and there's a company that does stuff like that through Instagram that we've talked to partner with
Bill
them.
Says it's scummy on Whatnot.
Yeah, there's a lot of different types of people selling on Whatnot. But there's also a lot of reputable people that sell on Whatnot too. So, but anyway, there's a company that does like auction type things through Instagram, and we've talked about maybe doing that because we like the idea of auctions, like actual auctions.
I personally, I'm open to it for doing that, like just selling a certain thing, not what we do on Instagram. Instagram, like I said, I'm somewhat loyal to Instagram. I think they've been loyal to Rachel and I. We have made friends to the people that buy from us, and we haven't, especially on Monday nights. Monday nights have been our jam. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know it is very addicting.
4 short boxes in 3 months. Yeah, it is addicting.
Yeah, your friend Jeff, he got on that game too, that Whatnot game, because they're shipping so cheap on there. I don't know how they do that. I honestly don't know how they do that. It's so expensive to ship.
All the people I know on Whatnot are either hustlers or gone in because they had nowhere else to go.
Gave in because they had nowhere else to go. We've heard it's really hard to build a community on Instagram, and we've been really fortunate that like we've been able to build a really great community on Instagram. But we have heard it's really hard to build community there.
The X-Men 141, can you put that?
Yeah, X-Men 141 and 142, our comics you name comes from how many copies? Oh wait, our comics are the comics you name.
From our name, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. How many copies do you have? Any extra? I think maybe you swooped them up because I can't find them anywhere. Bill will also attest to this question because I know he wants one too.
I'll tell you why. People don't want to sell them because the price is not right.
Yeah.
It's gone down a lot. I don't have a lot of copies. I think I have 2 copies of the 141.
You have a 9.8.
I have a 9.8, 9.6.
And a 9.6, and I have an 8.5.
Slabbed.
Yeah.
And she has a copy, an 8.5, and I might have more 142s than 141s. But when the price starts to go down on books, you'll see a constriction of people that are saving their copies. Mm-hmm. You might be looking in the wrong place too. At auction, you'll see them more often than you will maybe on eBay. You might also see them on eBay. I don't know how often you look, just in lower grade. So I do think that you're going to see a constriction when books dip, like we're in right now, a big dip. I also way overpaid for mine. They're still not at market. We have a friend that's on right now, and he wanted to take a peek at one of ours, and I've lost so much money on mine. I'm just going to hold them. Not that I think it's going to come back 100%. It might not, but there's no sense in me selling something right now because I know it will come back somewhat.
Oh, Bill got one. Good, Bill. I'm glad.
Oh, and they're not hard. It's not like they were low printed.
I know. I was like, I'm never going to sell my 8.5.
And by the way, if like a grade like that can satisfy your collecting needs, you should not overbuy. I think you wait for the overbuys, spending more on more book instead of a bigger grade. In my opinion, that's my humble opinion.
Just we're not changing a thing. We're always going to sell on Instagram. As long as Instagram's around.
As long as it works.
Monday night's always going to be a thing. Friday is the one that has changed consistently, but we're still good on Friday night.
I like Friday too. I mean, I don't know what summer's going to hold for Friday, but we hung in there last summer on Mondays. Summer's a little tougher because people want to do something else.
We have con season and stuff.
Hang out in front of their phone buying comic books. You might want to live life.
Well, Bill, you'll be able to find a better copy at some point, I'm sure. Okay, we're going to stop now because we said we're going to do that in 15 minutes.
Rachel, let's go.
People keep asking very good questions.
Yes, we like chatting with you guys. We want to do this more often.
Yes. Yeah. We always say that every time we do this, but this time for real.
we will do this again.
Bye.
Bye.